4th grade.
And it all started with a May basket?
Kind of.
Okay.
So, we have this discussion all the time because I wonder if May Day is still a thing where that's where you learned as a kid what a pipe cleaner was.
Yeah, thank you.
And you would make them and you'd have the styrofoam cup and you'd fill it with candy.
That would be the handle.
You'd drop it on somebody's doorstep and you knock on the door and run.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in on Bridget Duffy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more you put in the cup.
She liked my May Day basket. That was like 4th grade. But then the better story is, so when my mom passed away, her mom came to, because her mom and my mom were friends, and came to the she came to the funeral, but she also came to the I'm not gonna say the reception the night before.
The visitation.
Yeah.
No,
So she goes, you probably don't recognize me. And she had a very recognizable look because she was like a part-time secretary at my grade school. And I said, hi, Mrs. Duffy. Thanks for coming. I know
I've been waiting for this day.
You and my mom, had always stayed in touch. And she goes, yeah. She goes, did you hear about Bridget?
Oh.
And I said,
she got a May Day basket.
Hey, so this is at the front of the church.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. So this, my brother and I are in the receiving line and welcoming people.
Right.
And she goes, yeah. Have you heard about Bridget? And I was like, no.
But I'm listening.
Should I?
She goes, yeah. She's got a couple of kids with her partner. She's lesbian. Right? Oh, people around in the visitation for my mom, and I'm like,
Meanwhile, you're like,
and then please tell me she said, well, see you later.
I almost said,
all right.
Big gulps, huh?
I almost said, I tried in 4th grade on May 1.
I would have liked to have been the person behind the line. Just like,
yeah,
Christ, Sharpie, I'm
there's
sorry.
Like there's some things you don't share.
Yeah, but I mean, good for her.
I
Because
just want to give you my condolences.
Maybe send me an email. Maybe DM me. But like at my mom's visitation, don't say, "Oh, did you hear about Bridget? She's got a couple of kids now with a partner, and she's lesbian." Like, who does that?
You could just stop with the 2 kids. Like, oh, good for her.
I love older people. They always feel like they have to tell you that detail no matter what.
But May Day, I put a note in her little styrofoam cup at school.
Was it a circle yes or no or maybe?
No, I only did that once. That was Jenny Layden, and she vehemently said no.
Oh, not even a maybe.
Broke my heart.
Mm.
But do they still do, like, at the daycare, are they doing May Day baskets today?
I'll know today. They didn't last year because I was curious about
COVID?
that. I don't know. Do you think that's something that COVID killed, or do you think
COVID killed May Day
that was
baskets?
phased out as our generation got beyond giving each other a May Day basket? It's something you could bring back.
Do you think they canceled May Day because you have to bring a basket for everybody?
Yeah.
That is true too.
Expensive.
It's like, I mean, and I know we're far enough removed from Valentine's Day, but you got to do that on Valentine's Day too. At some point, you feel like that was a great thing about May Day, though. But see, you're right. I feel like May Day baskets were done more on your own time, and that's where when you knew where someone or your parents knew where someone lived, they would drop you off. You'd drop the May Day basket. You were very selective in doing that, so it wasn't necessarily pointed to just your classroom. It could
you had
be
a rotation, didn't you?
Yeah, well, and that's your list. I think that's your A list is what you end up exercising on May 1st. You don't feel like, oh yeah, the weird kid who's always picking his nose. I don't really know much about him. I don't know if he'll appreciate this May Day basket.
Figure.
He got a Valentine from me before, so
we didn't have nose pickers. We had
Smarty sniffers.
No,
the candy.
Well, we had people that would sniff glue.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and then they would sniff whiteout.
Whiteout had a strong stench.
They actually
the first couple of times whiteout was good. I was like, whoa, I could get used to this.
Our 4th grade teacher had a rolling thing that you poured liquid in, just toxic liquid, and it made copies. And
like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Did any of the kids say that after a real stressful day in 3rd grade?
See, I was not into sniffing glue. I was more into putting glue on like my hand and peeling it off.
Oh yeah, and it's like you make it look like it's your skin. Like, look at this.
But
creepy.
You know what? Like I probably went through 4 days of where the whiteout was like I could sniff that, and then I can't remember somebody with sense. Like
I like markers. I like sniffing markers.
Hit me in the head, and they said, you know what?
It'd
probably be better to do lead than to lead paint than do whiteout.
I hope that wasn't a note in your May Day basket.
So happy May Day, everybody. It is the 1st of May.
I feel like I missed out.
Hard to believe it's the 1st of May.
I want to know
if you were homeschooled and you kept in a box as a kid. I understand.
I do really want to know if people still do Mayday baskets. I'm
we
legitimately concerned. So,
Peter's young.
I know we do have a lot of people that are our age that are.
I don't think as an
mothers
adult,
and fathers.
I don't think as an adult, like in your 20s, you're supposed to do the Mayday basket.
Oh, you mean he's not doing it anymore?
There's some creepiness involved in that.
Actually,
unless it's very romantic, and which would be really, really cool for your significant other.
A friend of mine, he tried to make it. I think he did this for 2 years. He's going to make this a tradition. But him and his wife delivered Mayday baskets to his adult friends, and they were filled with Fireball shots and other adult beverages. There was a beer in it in the cup, and then there were fireballs.
How can I get in your friend's circle?
I will add you to the group list. Now, he has not done that since I remember it being a thing during COVID, because you'd always have the
COVID.
You'd have the drive-bys. We
had those growing up.
Not those drive-bys.
Oh, sorry.
The drive-by interactions of, all right, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to drop this off. Wanted to say hi, see how you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, now I got to go. We've used our 5 minutes allotment of time. So then he carried that into the following year too, but he hasn't done it since. I'm not sure why. Maybe I offended him. Maybe he's still doing it. I just got crossed off the list.
You might have said something infuriating.
That's possible.
Or not enough stuff.
So you could do adult. I mean, in theory, you could do adult Mayday baskets and just make it geared around those things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, happy May Day. If you didn't realize, it's May 1. We're 4 months are gone. We're a third of the way through the year.
Yeah.
121 days till kickoff now.
I am getting old. Time just flies.
We've got Memorial Day weekend. We've got postseason baseball to get excited about. College baseball, all that stuff.
All right. So how did we do last night? I did not get a chance to listen.
The phrases.
Yeah. Well, first let's do this. So you're gonna help me today, because if you were confused before last night's game, you're still confused about the state of college baseball in the state of Nebraska.
I'd like to just give up.
I was not able to listen to you and Connor, but would you like to read the text I was sending you after a 6-run first inning for Creighton?
Yes.
In the voice of Morgan Freeman.
Hello, gentlemen.
Just don't read the responses.
Actually,
just don't read the responses from both of you.
I won't.
Or you can paraphrase for the kids.
We get a group text from one Gary Sharp, who says, there is rain, locusts, blood-sucking cicadas heading towards the ballpark. They probably should cancel the game right now. Just one guy's opinion. And can I read the other part too?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Gary also follows up with, 5 minutes later, after the onslaught continues in the first, why did they make this game an exhibition?
Creed versus Drago was an exhibition.
Yeah.
How'd that turn out?
Throw in the damn towel.
No matter what.
So last night, Creighton completes the sweep. If you did not know, check out their social media. But good on them. You have to own it. Creighton was better in 3 games than Nebraska. I said yesterday that Creighton will win.
Mm-hmm. I noticed you're wearing your Creighton blue today too.
It's in support of Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Or Freddie King. What about Freddie King?
Yeah.
Hey. I'm a gold guy. Help me here. So
I'll try. I will try.
So Creighton is now 27-4 in the non-con.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's really good.
But they are not right now in their conference tournament.
That's not good.
Nope.
Will Bolt has a worse record against Creighton win percentage-wise than Fred Hoiberg. And facts.
Facts.
And Nebraska has dropped another midweek game where and it's kind of ironic. You and I talked about, they haven't been sloppy. Bradford for the second straight game. Nebraska bad at the plate, no clutch hitting. And every time Nebraska tried to get back into it after being down 6-1, and credit to Nebraska's bullpen. Nebraska's bullpen kept them in it.
Yeah, Caleb Clark looked good.
The thing that Creighton does, and this is why they can't do it when it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, when Nebraska answered, Creighton answered.
Yes.
I'm going to read an email from a diehard Creighton fan here in a little bit. I have said I like this Creighton team, and I think if they get into the NCAA tournament, they can do some damage. But they got an issue on the emotion they play, and it's a little bit of it is Nebraska.
Yeah.
But I watched them against Coastal Carolina last week. Their emotion and how hard they play on Tuesday and Wednesday is in stark contrast to the weekend. And all I know, you can boast that you have swept Nebraska again.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean squat if you're not in the Big East tournament. Now, Nebraska can go, yeah, we went 0-3 against Creighton. They're the better team. I don't know if they'd say it. But you know what? On the weekend, when we're able to throw our starters, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just the confusing state of blue and red, and it was furthered last night by that result.
What's beautiful, though, about last night,
The beautiful part of baseball.
the beautiful part of the series is an RPI game. With the loss, Nebraska moved up.
Oh, jeez.
They moved up to 24th. And Creighton's at 50. They moved up 4 spots. Nebraska moved up 1. So there's your net positive right there for both teams. We left the stadium last night, and we were
Did
wondering.
you avoid those blood-sucking cicadas that are invading the country?
Well, I think they wound up in Des Moines, which was very true to the series. We saw in the 8th, Connor noticed it, and I said, don't even speak of this thing, but we saw a little cell, which turned out to be, I think, a lot closer to probably Urbandale than it was Omaha. But there was some light, and we're like, you got to be kidding me. If this thing is closer than we think, which we could tell it was off in the distance, but I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, as we're leaving, we're thinking, if you're Creighton, how long do you celebrate this one? Because you still have the looming reality of 4-7. That's your record in Big East play right now. You are needing to, at the very least, get back to 500 to have a shot to make your tournament. Bishop and I had this conversation on last week's broadcast about anybody wanting some type of historical reference for a team that is not qualified for their conference tournament and actually made the NCAA tournament, that team had an RPI of 22. So that's not going to happen for Creighton. You're not going to get yourself in the top 30 RPI-wise with what you have remaining on your schedule. So how long do you celebrate that moment and then try to figure out what the hell is going on the weekends? But it's a good point on your part of the emotion, because even Ed Service said it last night. So when these guys play free, they just have that overall enthusiasm. And anybody, and this is kind of the unfortunate thing for covering Creighton baseball for me this year, is that's how I've known this team when they're at home. And I mean, they've dropped series at home too. I mean, it's not like this has all been on the road in conference play, but it's a loud group out of the dugout. They're in every pitch. They're banging on the top of the dugout fence there. I mean, they're present. And especially when you don't have that many people, I mean, you can really sense that, and that they're just excited to play. Now, lately, though, I got to go all the way back to, gosh, what was it? It would have been the Portland series, because that was the last weekend series I did, and they fared well in that one. I've only seen them in midweek games where, they've been into it. They've been energized. And you would think it'd be the exact opposite. Midweek, usually, especially this time of the year, you just sort of feel sluggish. And they don't have that. Obviously, if you look at their last 2 midweek opponents, Coastal Carolina, that's going to invoke a lot of excitement because, hey, big dog's coming into town. We got a top 20 team. Let's show out.
And they swept them.
Yep. And then you got Nebraska. Enough said there.
I got to ask this question a little bit later. Something happened because
a gentleman's bet was made.
No, this is not just an
agreement.
It's Nebraska, so we're going to get up. There's something Nebraska has done that is clearly under Creighton's skin, because it's
game 7 for them.
There's something else there. But is this an Ed Service issue? You can't have the same energy and enthusiasm on the weekend. And
it's a good question.
When your pitchers you probably trust more on the weekend. I mean, I think they're a well-constructed team. They're an older team.
Agreed.
But what is the issue? Is that a coaching issue? Is that a leadership issue when they get to the weekend that they don't have the same energy and emotion when they play Georgetown or they play Villanova? Now, maybe we will see this weekend and they play to the level of competition because they get St. John's. Their whole season, and I think the trajectory of Creighton baseball comes down to the next 6 conference games.
I think Ed is a very smart baseball man. I think Ed understands. I think for his 21st year now as the head coach for Creighton, I think even this year, where you would assume by being in the game as the head coach, especially at the same place for that long, you feel like you've probably seen just about everything. I don't think Ed could ever compare what is happening this year with his team to anything that he's experienced.
Yeah, he's got a really, really good team.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens on the weekend. They're 4-7, and they're in a conference that is better than it's been in the past.
But let's not call it the SEC. Thank you.
It's not
the
Big 12.
Right. Thank you.
And if you can't get into the first 4 of your conference to get to Ohio to the conference tournament, what are you doing? What happened last night to finish off a 3-game sweep, sweeping Coastal Carolina, 27 non-conference wins? That doesn't mean nothing if you don't make the conference tournament, and that would be the second straight year. And then you got to ask some tough questions.
Yep.
But they're the most confusing team in college baseball.
Right. More so than the red team. I'm right there with you.
The red team I'm with. They're a good team, not great.
Yep.
Okay. And
I still think they're a 3 seed, not a 2.
Be curious how they respond tonight. They've done a good job of responding. I got a good Kansas State team that's playing down in Lincoln.
Another good RPI booster too. This is the thing about Creighton that I've really enjoyed watching in the midweek is they set an early tone, but then they close it out with a similar tone. That's lacking on the weekends. Whether it's getting down early and then having to do beyond limitations to try to get back in the game where you've dug yourself too much of a hole, or you do get out to a good start and then you just completely get complacent. And either you see that in the batter's box or you see that on the mound where you're not getting that type of collective energy that you see. It's amazing. It's astonishing to me how many heroes out of the bullpen I've seen in the last month in the midweek from this Creighton team. Yet you almost wonder, hey, you know what? Let's just take that Johnny Holstaff approach to the weekend right now.
Yeah, start an opener.
Exactly, because if that's our best chance of winning, you're keeping guys active, you're keeping guys on red alert, knowing that they could come in at any moment, and that all of a sudden puts a sense of urgency in the offense too, of, hey, guys, we need you because we're gonna roll through this thing like it's a midweek. I don't know. I mean, it sounds kind of silly because why would all of a sudden you just completely change everything? But what's working on the weekdays is not working on the weekend, and you're running out of time. That's the thing. That's, we talk about, hey, it's May 1st. You got 11 games left. They got 3 series, 2 of which could really dictate where you fall.
6 games dictates the trajectory of
Seton Hall. Seton Hall's the regular season finale, and that's at home.
You might not, that may
not matter.
Absolutely nothing.
Right. I mean, you might get into that where you can't catch up.
Guys might have the cars packed.
Exactly. And you bring up the coaching part of this in Ed Service. Is this a question for Ed, and what buttons is he pushing on the weekend compared to the weekday? Well, I'd say this. I don't think there's many buttons you have to push with some of these weekday games that we're noting because of the opponent that is across the way on the dugout. This is where that entire coaching staff, because I think any question right now is a fair question of why this can't translate into the weekend, of finding something else to get your guys motivated, because we know Big East baseball, the venues, there's a lot of things about it that can be sleepy. There's a lot of things about it where as a team, and this is a group that's played a lot of college baseball, whether it's with each other at Creighton or at other places. This is a squad that's seen a lot. Yeah, they've gone through injuries, but everybody does. And that's the other amazing thing is even in the weekdays, the midweek games, those injuries aren't looming so large. So it's hard for me to say, hey, the weekend, that's where they're showing up. The Cancelleri one is a big one, but there's a lot of people that lose a guy out of the rotation.
Is he coming back?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
wonder what they do with their pitching this weekend.
Right.
I think there's a nice little lefty that is a midweek guy that I think deserves to start on the weekend.
Now, I do know he was, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, he did get a short stint bullpen in. So I know the book hasn't been closed on him yet, but you would think if not now, when? Because you need that tone setter. But there's just a lot of different questions I have of how do you get the guys up when it's not Nebraska, when it's not Coastal Carolina, when it's not midweek? What types of buttons are you pushing? And is this team that I think very experienced, very veteran-laden team seem like a group that is really collective? Are they as together if you're not able to generate? There's no reason not to be able to have what you saw last night, what you've seen in the midweek with the energy level. I mean, to the point where it's almost laughable because they know they have every answer. Anytime Nebraska gives you any type of a scare, that they just say, okay, yeah, we got this. Where is that on the weekends? Where is that against Georgetown? Where is that against Villanova, Xavier? Where is that stuff?
Yeah, and they're clutch hitting. I mean, they were
absolutely
great. 2 out hitting last night. They were 8 for 16 to the plate. They got things going with runners in scoring position. There's a completely different looking team. And then on the other hand, for Nebraska, good, not great. The month of April is over. Bad month for Nebraska in April. They weren't able to establish any consistency, even though they were winning outside of Rutgers Big Ten weekends. But in terms of building, where you're going into May, I don't know. I think there are 2 teams that played last night that are good, not great, but also have reached their peak.
I think that's very fair.
I don't think May is going to all of a sudden you're going to hit the X button and teams are going to take off. You're either trying to play your way into your conference tournament or for Nebraska trying to hold on and build on the weekends when you have arms that you can trust that start a game. Because look when Nebraska gets a good start out of the gate on the bump, boy, it just is like a trickle-down effect.
Absolutely it is.
A lot more on last night if you were amongst the 4,356.
Can I say it seemed like more? Maybe it's because my eyes are used to seeing less, but Connor and I thought we were close to that number at 6. And so when we saw the number, we were like, oh, that's a little surprising.
So 4,356.
Yeah. I thought it'd be 6. It looked like 6.
Oh, a beautiful night for baseball.
Yeah, turned out to be great.
You can join the show via the 42 Degree hotline. From 42 Degrees, the source by your mom's house. 402-951-1620. That is the digits always to talk with us. Coming up a little bit later, possibly Evan Bland.
Yes.
Okay. And also Brandon Vogel from Counter Read. The lineup brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. You can always send us an email into the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally, professionally, and they take banking to you. And I want to read this. So this is from TL3, who is a diehard Creighton baseball fan, and he has been there a long time. I'm sorry. Well, he says, help Creighton baseball make sense to me, please. I'm sorry, no amount of injuries or anything else excuses a series loss to Villanova a couple of weekends ago. Now he sent this after last night's game. Villanova baseball is a program that should be eliminated as a mercy. Unless Ed pulls a rabbit out of where the sun don't shine and makes the Big East tournament, I'm ready for a change. He used to challenge Big East teams to schedule up. Xavier does schedule up year in and year out and owns Creighton. I don't think it's a coincidence. He also said that his wife does Mayday baskets. So thank you, TL3, with a double email. Also, happy birthday to KG's wife on Mayday. I think these are all valid questions. And it's not like Ed's going home at night and going, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, he's a good baseball man that put this roster together, and it's a good roster. Why can't Tuesday night carry over to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and in some cases, much lesser competition?
Absolutely. And here's the other part about it. What has Creighton shown the ability to do? Go back to last Wednesday's Coastal Carolina game. Go back to game 2 of Creighton, Nebraska in Lincoln. They've shown the ability to come from behind. They've shown the ability of, when it looks like it may not be your night, that they can turn the tide. So let's again look at the glaring injury that you could point to where things have changed for Creighton and say Cancelleri not being available hurts them on Friday. Okay, so first of all, Malachi Vitak in that role has shown that there's something there.
Yeah.
But you can't expect him to be a typical Friday night, lights out, this is our tone setter. That's just not what his role was carved out to be this year. So you don't maybe get your best on the first night. What this team has shown in the midweek is, despite maybe going down in a series 0-1, that they've got enough offensively and enough in the bullpen that they can respond and win games 2 and 3. It's another element to the most confusing thing that I think I've seen in college baseball. And in a historical reference to what happened last night is, it's the first time that Creighton has had a 3-game sweep over Nebraska since 2018. Now, that was the
same year they didn't make the Big East tournament.
Yep. 34-win team. But what was Nebraska that year? They were awful. That was a awful Nebraska baseball team that didn't make the Big Ten tournament. And so you're looking at this year.
That's 8 teams.
Yes, exactly. You're looking at this year where you say, all right, if that is to happen, I would think that one team is really weak. Either one team is historically good or one team is really weak. You can't say that about either one of these teams. Creighton or Nebraska, they're not juggernauts, but they're also not 2018 Nebraska either. Yeah. So as you try to search for answers of any type of trend that seems to make sense, and you could bring the national guys in on this as well, I don't think anything about what Creighton's numbers would show you, what they've done in the midweek speaks for itself, but also what the Big East, what people want to give it credit for being, but what we have to be honest with what it still isn't. Makes zero sense.
Yeah. You have the lineup. You can also get in touch with us on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter. If you don't, let me give you the email so you can tell us more about your May Day. Gary at 1620thezone.com.
Handley at 1620thezone.com.
Also on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620.
At Nick Handley 1620.
All right, biggest thing downtown last night did not happen at the Chuck. It happened across the street again.
I read about that.
Again, it happened. Yeah. We'll tell you about Zach Bryan's night 2 in Omaha.
Almost predictable, but cool.
Yes. Plus, we have drama, and we have other things that are going on surrounding Nebraska football that we will discuss as we roll till 10. Glad to have you in on this May Day. You can't fight it. You knew it's going to be May. It's not like we're going to skip May 1.
No, can't do it.
No. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Former CI officer Jason Hansen here, inviting you to a special financial briefing this Thursday. As a former CI officer, I protected my country and family from threats for decades. Now I recommend that all Americans guard their financial security from threats to the U.S. dollar. During this exclusive summit, you'll get top strategies for safeguarding your wealth and creating a bulletproof financial plan. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today at 800-741-GOLD to register for free. Again, 800-741-GOLD right now.
Paid for by Advantage Gold. Performance may vary. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always consult your financial and tax professional.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication and a range, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
It doesn't get old. This banger. This definitely an instinct is one of their top 3 songs. Yep. Bye 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 would be number 1.
That is number 1, huh?
Oh,
it's a great dance.
With that. No, I could go with that as number
Tearing
1.
Up My Heart.
I might say this one is 2.
I'm missing one here.
But I feel like I'm missing one. It is early.
They did sing a banger in Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah,
they did.
I think that says a lot about a group if you can put one of the Christmas tunes in your top 5 or top 10.
True. Yeah, maybe you're right. I'm looking at the catalog right now. Nothing's jumping off the page more than
like
Bye
Michael
Bye
Bolton.
Bye. I just felt Bye 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 was more popular because of everybody wanted to do the dance.
And who doesn't like?
Yeah, but
Bye?
that's part of it.
Oh, sure. But the song, if you just heard it and you were confined to a chair, you couldn't move, and you couldn't get your arms up like that, would it be as good?
You could.
If you just really had to hone in on the lyrics and the beat, would you be like, yeah, that's the best? Maybe Tearing Up My Heart?
Yes.
Tearing Up My Heart that came before Bye Bye Bye, did it not?
No, Tearing Up My Heart was on 2001.
Okay.
That would be why I don't remember.
Because they had a banger of an album. This, I promise you, is getting a little bit of run here.
Sure.
Fair.
Yeah.
But you'll hear a lot about it in NSYNC today.
You will. And then if you wonder why, just look at the calendar.
Justin, I never saw NSYNC in concert, but I've seen Justin Timberlake, banger.
Saw
Absolute
Pantera at that time.
absolute banger of a performer and a voice.
I imagine that's
and
probably
a cool dude.
Oh, he's an everyday guy. You know, he likes sports. He wanted to be a Major League Baseball radio play-by-play guy in Trouble with the Curve. That wasn't good.
I quietly say I kind of enjoyed that movie, but people will knock me.
It's
like,
not as bad.
That movie is garbage. And I'm like, I kind of liked it.
I liked it better than Summer Catch.
I mean, if you grew up in a family that had a Major League Baseball scout as a dad,
true,
that just pulls on the heartstrings.
I know Connor would say so. I don't want to steal Connor's bit, but did your dad also run into coffee tables a lot and run into the garage when he was pulling out to go to a game?
No, but I am worried.
Oh,
not about my dad.
Okay. About Clint Eastwood?
He's still going. Why am I hearing more of people like running into things or falling down?
Brain tumors.
Whoa. Well, it'll be them damn brain tumors, Gary.
It's a side effect.
God, I've like seen or heard more people that either know or follow that like in the last couple of weeks have had incidences where they've fallen down or they fainted.
Are these people that are of age
they're a little bit older?
Okay.
But it like all of a sudden was like racking up, and now Jimmy's got me thinking that they'll have brain tumors.
Jesus, Jimmy.
Gosh, have some compassion, my man.
To even it back.
Could just be an equilibrium thing, you know.
Could be let's see, vertigo.
Could have vertigo.
There's another one. Labyrinthitis. That's a thing. It's not that bad. It's not that good.
What do you do in your free time?
You don't want to know.
Probably not.
I don't think I do.
But
not on this beautiful Wednesday.
So while the ball game was ending there at the Chuck last night,
right at 9:15, by the way, is when we were walking out.
That's pretty good.
See, I didn't get to hear you because I went to another event, and by the time I got out, you guys were done.
So when you text, I thought maybe you were listening, and I thought that was your way of saying,
"Oh no, I was following on my phone."
It's time to start getting some liners, buddy.
When it was 1-0 Nebraska, I was about ready to send a text, and then all of a sudden it was 6-1 Creighton. I'm like, okay,
put the phone up.
You had a text ready to go, and then all of a sudden, delete.
Now, with that said, how many?
So I got 4.
Okay.
A couple we didn't discuss.
You got baby in the corner, though.
I did get baby in the corner.
When did you use that?
It was towards the so when Teddy Dieters hit the bomb.
Yeah.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, he loved to hit against Nebraska every day of the week.
But he was relatively quiet in the game before he hit the bomb last night. And so I had mentioned, Teddy Dieters' success against Nebraska on game 2, where everybody's getting in on the action right now. You wonder if Teddy Dieters is going to have that type of impact, and he just shows us that no one puts baby in the corner.
That's awesome.
So I got that one in. There was a ball. Yeah, I had to get that one in. There was a ball that was hit. It was smoked but foul. And then I mentioned he hit it into the lumberyard, but he's not really sure where it is. Caddyshack reference there. We did have Tommy Lamb come in, and I did, as we were giving Tommy's breakdown too, also snuck in also Tommy Like-Wingy. And what was the 4th?
What was Connor's reaction to this, and did he play along?
So I don't think he heard the lumberyard one. The baby in the corner, he just kind of gave a
because that's from a movie.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he just pull a Beavis and Butthead with that laugh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was just and I think he knew what was going on. And then this is the one that you made me think of that we never talked about yesterday with your text. That it was
the
probably
cicadas.
Yeah, so
cicadas are real.
We got
to watch out for them this summer.
Well, you talked about all of just the hell that was going to be raining down with the really heavy rain that came through. I got into it talking about the weather because you always got to mention how nice of a night it is if you're experiencing that at the ballpark. And I mentioned, with all of the chaotic weather that we saw on Friday, unfortunately, and I said, we were supposed to see some pretty bad storms. It was raining here. We had. I think I said it was raining down toads. We had cats and dogs living together. It was so I snuck in the Ghostbusters one there too.
Thank you.
But here was the problem. I was telling Jimmy this before. The first time I left the booth during the game, they don't typically have us up that loud on the overhead. They always have 1620 or the home feed it for on 1180 as well. They have that piped into the stadium. So if you're in the suites and you're walking around, you can hear us. They had it loud last night, so I had to be.
They hate Nebraska.
I had to be a little mindful of that. Yeah, I wonder if Nebraska started winning, if they would have turned us down.
Yeah. I'm all here for all the pettiness that goes on between Creighton and Nebraska, and I really, really want to look into the social media teams and what they have in their drafts when Creighton and Nebraska play.
Yeah. Yep. What is just saved and ready to hit send?
I mean, Nebraska has no response. I mean, Creighton has owned Nebraska. But that whoever's running the social media for Creighton, like 4 weeks ago, they were already loading up on drafts for what to send out.
Yeah.
After
it's like you don't have one in the can for Coastal Carolina. No, don't care.
Now there is confusion with our college baseball teams. Really, the only non-confusing team is Omaha.
Yeah.
Zach Bryan has left us with a lot of confusion. Popular artist.
He's a Jason.
I heard more people after I was off the air yesterday that their kids went. I'm not gonna. She's in sports. She was at my table last night at the Boys Town banquet, which, by the way,
that was Daryl.
Daryl was good. That's like the 3rd or 4th time that I've heard him speak.
Talk about the 86 NLCS.
No, he doesn't.
Damn,
so Daryl's gone through
Game 6-1.
He very, very religious, and so he talks about that experience. He's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the place was packed last night. They raised a lot of money. It was a lot of fun. Ross Turnstrom was the MC. It was really, really cool. Been there a couple of times. So thank you. But all the people that were there that are the listeners that stopped by to say hi. And I was sitting with the Storm Chasers guys. And so Gary Green, who is the owner of the Storm Chasers, him and Darryl Strawberry are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the way that Darryl Strawberry got hooked up to be at this banquet. And they always have like top-notch speakers. But people were telling me about Zach Bryan. somebody who is in sports, was sitting at my table, and she said, yeah, my 15-year-old son went to Zach Bryan. And I said, oh, man, what time did you get home? And she's like, about 12:15. And I said, yeah, because he didn't go on stage till 9:15.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, you got to tell me the appeal of Zach Bryan. And she's like, oh, they love it.
Does she have a daughter?
No, she has boys.
Okay, I just want to know because we were having that question yesterday.
That was night one. Banger, sold out. Celebrities in the house. If you're on TikTok, the Nebraska volleyball program is all over TikTok in their night. And
listener Matt.
And the players do their coach dirty because they catch John Cook singing. So night number 2. You want confusion, America?
Yeah.
Zach Bryan just poured gas all over the Jaskers discussion last night.
Big time.
In his concert. So packed again.
By the way, they had 2 jerseys made for him, according to Rob Anderson. They sent over 2 jerseys.
Fred King and Ryan Kalkbrenner?
No, they were 2 Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Because of his...
I don't know if he wanted to wear home whites or if he wanted to wear road blues. That might have been it. He just said, Rob had said they had 2 Kalkbrenner jerseys made.
So the night before, he brings Matt Rule on stage.
Our friend.
Now to be fair, this lady's 15-year-old son didn't quite know why that guy was on stage. Didn't know who Matt Rule was. That's fine. So last night, Zach Bryan performs again in the Creighton house, and he's wearing Kalkbrenner's number 11.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out in it. He was in it all night.
Right.
And so people are going nuts.
Omaha.
This is great. This is Creighton. We fight over celebrities. Like, we try and put Bud Crawford in Creighton or Nebraska gear. We got Tommy Frazier in Creighton or Nebraska gear. Warren Buffett has got things on his face, but he ain't giving no money to Nebraska.
You got to earn my money.
But, and cool that he did that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
he
could have been like, hey, I'm wearing the jersey until the man comes back.
Right.
But he did something last night to close it out that is just wrecking Jaskers this morning.
Taking their moment.
Because a kid that should be in high school, I just want people to realize something here.
And not this 15-year-old.
No, he is in high school. Somebody that should be in high school probably would have just gotten done with their prom.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
They still got, because down in the South, your graduation is a little bit later.
Yep. Yeah, it's after Memorial Day.
Prom's
weekend,
later.
right?
Last night, Dylan Raiola is on stage at the Zach Bryan concert.
Past his bedtime.
Boom!
951-1620. Who won last night?
I didn't even put those two
I
together,
do want just people to and I mean it's cool that he was there. Nebraska has a celebrity who should.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out. Whatever you saw in the spring game on Saturday and moving forward until the season starts, this is a kid that should still be in high school. But pretty cool moment last night. Kudos to Zach Bryan, man. He, his connection to the area, and he leaned into it, supporting everybody and supporting our community.
Right.
With the tornado damage out in Northwest Omaha and Elkhorn and around that area. Good 2-night run, but last night showing up in the Kalkbrenner jerseys, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then bringing the quarterback, QB1. Now I don't think he said QB1. But he brought QB1 on stage.
Do you think Matt mentioned that to him the night before? Said, hey, just don't announce him as a starter, please.
Here's Heinrich Harburg's backup.
Thanks for having me on stage. If Dylan comes up, just don't mention him as starting quarterback. We got to keep that narrative. We got to keep that competition going. We got to drive the guys a little bit. Now you got me curious. So I might have to text Rob Anderson and find out.
Oh, he'll be up.
He did say 2 jerseys, and he alluded that they were both 11s. Maybe I'm just assuming. Maybe only the one, and because he wore the home white one. Maybe the other one was a Freddie King, given the news yesterday. He had a blue Freddie King jersey. Zach Bryan opted to wear Kalkbrenner.
Zach Bryan, after his 2-night sold-out run at the Chai last night, take off the Kalkbrenner jersey, and they immediately lifted it into the rafters.
Oh, yeah. And see, it was going to serve 2 purposes. So now it's just sitting there. It's on the hooks, and they're just waiting for the night to lift it up into the banners.
Thought you're going to say Fred King came back because of Zach Bryan's 2-night run at the Chai. I can't leave this.
I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? We get this. 2 nights?
Warm weather?
He's only going to certain places for 1 night. He comes here for 2 nights?
San Diego, the Big East.
This is something. I did see some of the we like to rub it into Iowa with certain things anytime you can. I saw people saying, have any Iowa players ever been on stage with Zach Bryan? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm not really sure.
Is he doing a show in Des Moines? Because I know somebody he could invite.
I feel pretty confident that Kirk Ferentz hasn't been on stage with Zach Bryan. Feel pretty good about just assuming that.
No.
Maybe Brian, but not Kirk.
I bet Matt Campbell would be on stage.
Oh, yeah, he would. Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Mm.
Gosh, all right, we got to stop. Not really.
Well, what's wrong with
So
Matt Campbell?
that's how we ended last night. So it was not all an L for Nebraska.
Yeah, there you go.
Their starting quarterback was on stage.
Yep.
So you're saying they won the night? Because that's a pretty big deal.
I mean, you did get a lot of Creighton.
Adds to winning the offseason championship.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Milroe is not on stage at a Zach Bryan concert. Carson Beck.
It's Quinn Ewers.
Dylan Gabriel.
People
Or
"Who
Peter
is that?"
Gabriel.
Will Howard wasn't there.
Now people really would be like, "Who the hell is that? Is this one of his roadies? Was this the opening act that I missed?
Are they in
Because I
town?
was at the bars and I didn't get here in time."
In town for Buffett's weekend?
Tyler Van Dyke was not there. All right.
Who's he
update
playing for these days?
Update with Jimmy coming up next. We got drama. We'll discuss after the update. And if you got the email yesterday, let's talk about it. You know what email I'm talking about.
Not a work email?
Hour in the books. Hour to come. Evan Bland, Brandon Vogel, a little bit later. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Update with Jimmy coming up next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Early morning on this May 1st, roads looking good right now. No accidents, slow-moving traffic, or any obstructions currently. Just keep an eye out for those long-term construction projects and any updates on those road closures from over the weekend severe weather. I will get those to you. Weather should not be a factor this morning. Just stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
I have never seen this before. Hi, John with Saul's Jewelry and Loan. The price of gold is the highest it's ever been. Now is the time to get the best price on your broken jewelry, chains, and diamond jewelry. Saul's has been around a while, and trust us, now's the time. Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stenick Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. Have you noticed stains on your ceiling this winter? With storm season around the corner and the damage it can bring, let Jay Stenick Contracting ensure that your roof is durable and holds up against the weather this spring and summer. When you need an honest assessment, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Spring has arrived, and Lenaha has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. The best shrubs, perennials, and freshly dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lenaha Nurseries, your homegrown headquarters since 1974. Think spring. Think Lenaha's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Sorry, it helps if I turn my mic.
What are you doing over there, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was messing with the computer. Anyway, okay, radio. Creighton baseball earns the third 3-game sweep in Nebraska in program history with a 9-5 win last night at the Chuck. A drop fly ball, a misplayed pop-up led to 5 unearned runs in the first, and a lot of angry text messages from Nick. Oh no, wait, Nick was on the radio, but he got some lines in, so that's all that matters. Anyway, Nebraska total 5 runs and 9 hits with an error. Creighton 9 runs and 13 hits. The win moves the Blue Jays 31-11 overall, unstoppable in the midweek. While Nebraska falls to 27-15, Creighton begins the 3-game road series with baseball superpower St. John's at 5 p.m. on Friday. The Huskers are back home for a midweek matchup against Big 8 foe Kansas State tonight, 6:05 at Haymarket Park. Should be a great night, I think. I haven't checked the weather.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice.
Okay. You heard it. Chief meteorologist Nick Handley.
Although that's the Omaha Metro forecast. I don't know what the Lincoln Metro forecast is.
Pretty much the same thing. Okay. Same state. Whatever. Storm Chasers game with the I-Cubs in Des Moines postponed because of the storms that Nick and Connor were watching last night. The game will be made up part of a doubleheader today. Game 1, 12:08 on the dot. Both games, 7-inning contests. Game 2 will begin roughly 30 minutes following the conclusion of the opener. But if you get upset about the shortage of baseball, just think of it this way. You get 14 innings of baseball, which is more than the 9 that you normally get. Prior to this week, the AAA Omaha franchise had not had more than 2 straight games postponed due to weather dating back to 2005. Hey, that was a good year. That's because they had 3 games postponed last week at Werner Park because, stuff was going on in Omaha, but you knew that already. Mike Trout, him again. The underrated, or what was he? Overrated. He's over at the bust. Mike Trout. Anyway, well, he's a bust because he can't stay healthy. He's got a torn meniscus in his left knee that will require surgery. Please understand that sarcasm. I really don't think he's overrated or a bust. I don't want to be looped in with that opinion. The Angels did not announce a timetable for Trout's recovery while revealing the injury, but sources familiar with the situation said a best case scenario could be 4 to 6 weeks. He's having a good year too.
He was. He's 13th in WAR for a team that's 7 games under 500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's worth watching. The rest of the team, not as much. And now you don't have to watch any of them. NBA playoffs, Sixers survived Game 5 and pushed their series with the Knicks back to Philly. That was a really good game. Nothing like playoff basketball in the Garden, and last night was a good example. 112-106 in overtime. New York leads that series 3-2. Cavs beat the Magic 104-103. You didn't know that because you're not watching. Don't worry, I'm not either. Cleveland leads 3. I don't have NBA TV. Otherwise, I would. Cleveland leads 3-2, and the Bucks blow out the Pacers 150. I don't have NBA TV. I have NFL and Major League Baseball Network. But
Gus Johnson was doing the game last night.
The NBA TV is, no. I don't have. Wait, what do you have? Do you have?
We have Hulu.
Yeah. Okay.
And now that we got MLB TV and we're okay. Yeah. We're good in the sports. Summer will be good. Yeah. And then the NBA TV, they won't have games on after round 1. So there. Anyway, the Bucks blow out the Pacers 115-92. Force a 6th game in that series. See what happens there. And then tonight, 2 Game 5. Celtics look to close out the Heat and Clippers. Or, well, they can close them both out. They close out the Heat. The Clippers and Mavs play out in LA with a series tied at 2. Destined for 7 games. I just don't think there's any way it doesn't go 7 games. It's a good series. In hockey last night, there was 4 games. The Maple Leafs beat the Bruins 2-1 to trim Boston's lead to 3-2. And they'll go back to Toronto, play Game 6. Hurricanes eliminate the Islanders 6-3. Do it in 5 games. Colorado eliminates the Jets of Winnipeg 4-1, and the Predators cut the Vancouver lead to 3-2 as they defeat the Canucks 2-1. And tonight, we got 2 games. Golden Knights of the Stars, game number 5 out in Dallas, and the Kings and Oilers. Edmonton looking to close them out and saying, we may have given you Gretzky, but we're going to take the series. They're up 3-1, and they'll play that out in Edmonton late tonight. And finally, gotta end on something positive. The start of last night's game between the Diamondbacks and Dodgers was delayed nearly 2 hours after a bee colony swarmed the top of the protective netting behind home plate. They do love them some Chase Field, those bees. Matt Hilton, branch manager for the Blue Sky Pest Control Phoenix office, turned into the star of the night for removing the bees. And then he got to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. He wasn't supposed to be working either. Bee swarms are common during the spring in Arizona and have caused numerous spring training delays through the years. Chase Field has a retractable roof that was open for the games of the bees. They own everything. They take over. Hilton was at his son's Levi's final T-ball game of the season when he got the call. He lives in Surprise, so it's about 45 minutes from downtown Phoenix, 2 hours of the traffic. So he quickly grabbed his beekeeping gear, hit the road. He said there was 0 traffic, so apparently all of Phoenix wasn't home last night, or was at home. At the stadium, the fans started getting antsy, even though there's bees, while waiting for the beekeeper to arrive, cheering as the grounds crew members wheeled a scissor lift onto the field, positioned it right below the bees. The sections behind the home plate were cleared for safety reasons, and Major League Baseball was consulted on whether to wait or postpone the game. Hilton arrived 70 minutes after the scheduled first pitch. This is a late game, by the way, and pumped up the already cheering crowd as he rode in on a cart from right field. It's like the bullpen carts back in the day. Too bad it wasn't a helmet. He suited up, rose towards the swarm, causing more cheers, and with another quick wave to pump up the crowd. Jesus, man, just kill the bees already. He stunned the bees with a spray and started sucking them up with a shop vacuum. I'm glad there's a shop vacuum on there. As Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero blared through the loudspeakers. Hilton hit the last few stragglers with more spray before lowering back onto the field, pumping his fist as the crowd cheered again. The bees, though, weren't killed. They were treated with a non-pesticidal solution and taken off site and sent to live in a very nice retirement community in Yuma.
And the honey was extracted appropriately. Yes. I'm a big Matt Hilton fan because you get into this business of beekeeping and being able to, are you in the science field then?
Well, you got to be careful here because it's one of the fastest growing industries.
Beekeeping?
Well, either way, when do you get a moment like that where you get to perform in front of thousands of people of what you do? Everything you do is usually somewhere in a secluded area where there's not, nobody wants to be close to it because they're afraid of bees. Now, you got a stage. So this is your moment. Job. This is like Eminem's, one moment here.
Hey, wouldn't a good beekeeper not wear the suit?
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
Kind of like in Major League where they stand behind the plate. They don't have any
where you're just that confident that you're going to stay at the arm's length that will keep any bee from harming you.
I don't need any protective
Hey, it's a pretty good industry because you could work for yourself, and you could keep your own hives and you can sell the honey.
Mm-hmm.
Like honey is making a comeback in this country.
Yeah.
Or you could work for like a commercial beekeeping honey production firm.
Yeah. Some would say it's like wheat.
Or there's the professional beekeeping services like this guy, where if I was going to own a company, it would be Best Bees Company. So it's actually like a good gig. But I don't know, like when you're 5 and you're like, I'd like to be a police officer, I'd like to be a fireman.
I want to be a beekeeper.
I want to be a beekeeper. I got stung by a bee and I want to understand why that bee stung me. And I want to get back at him.
There you go, Nick. You have a small child.
You know what happened? Matt Hilton made at least a couple of youngsters interested in being a beekeeper. With his, not only his execution of doing the job that he was supposed to do, but his flamboyancy. He really got into it. He made beekeeping look fun. And all of those kids heard the type of response he got. That's impactful right there. That's for the youth. Good on you, Matt Hilton. Good on you.
Arizona State has added beekeeping as a major. Some would argue it's a surprise it wasn't already a major at Arizona State.
I'm actually surprised it isn't. Yeah. I feel like you could
Why do we want to make it a major? Why can't we leave it like at Iowa Western and Metro? Let's support our community colleges.
So we're keeping it at a technical school?
Yes.
Okay.
Go there a couple of years. Get your B card. You gotta watch the B movie.
Careful about that.
Gotta watch a B movie.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Folks, as we continue to recover here in the city of Omaha, don't forget you can stay up to date. And if you need help or you want to give it, go to our website, 1620thezone.com, our One Community, the tornado relief page. You can see all the information there. And then while you're on our webpage, there's a lot of other fancy stuff to peruse and click on and sign up for, and maybe win a contest or two.
Win your own tornado.
Maybe you'll win a contest where Jimmy comes to your house and mows your lawn. Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
Why am I not mowing?
You
don't want me mowing.
You don't have to mow right now, right?
No.
Someone does that for you.
I got a promotion for you, and I know enough lawn guys that listen to our show.
I'm listening.
One of the hosts will come and mow your lawn, and they will leave the lawnmower.
Oh, I like that.
Boom.
This has
I
HAPA
love
written
that.
all over it.
Boom.
Spend an afternoon with Connor, maybe watch some baseball.
Yeah, we're all about gas mowers at 1620 The Zone.
He and Josh have some Capri Suns back here they could take.
I'm out of the mowing business. I've lived in a gated community and another place where I live here now where I don't have to. I got people that do the landscaping.
Yeah, I know.
So
Staff.
I don't know how to mow anymore. I did enough mowing when I was a young kid.
How is your staff?
They show up on time.
Good.
Hey,
Good.
Hey,
you two fight to the death.
You take care of the staff?
I get the guys at the city told me today they're coming to sweep the parking lot.
Oh.
I'm like, why are you letting me know?
So you get tipped off on this stuff too? Man,
Nice,
you're a big deal.
nice.
God.
Hey,
To be Gary Sharp.
I know some of the people in this town that have the oddest jobs. Like now I know the guy that runs the traffic lights.
Yeah. That was a big find, Garrett. Yeah.
I know a guy that runs one of the street sweepers.
Nice.
And I'm like, can I go with you one time?
I would. Do you have the patience for it? Because you're going at a snail's pace.
Oh,
man.
it'd be awesome though.
This is
Like
perfect.
nobody sees the street sweeper and goes, They like see
No,
the
you
street
appreciate it.
sweeper and they're like, ooh, warmer weather.
Yep.
And you're doing God's work
That's true.
because you're cleaning the street.
It is what the street sweeper represents.
You could do this.
You nailed it with the time of the year because then you know, hey,
You could stream
there's going to be no brine. There's going to be no sand put down. They're sweeping it away, baby.
We could make this happen.
It's grilling season.
Mowing season.
Oh, I've already mowed twice.
All right, have Connor mow at your house, and then you guys can have a little cookout with him.
Wow. Sean says
Throwing a Traeger grill
Yeah.
or maybe a Blackstone.
Sean says a bunch of the Creighton guys will be available to mow lawns by the end of the month.
Sean.
I love this rivalry. Kyle says, would a good beekeeper not need the suit? Does a good surgeon not need to wear gloves? Come on, Gary.
Yeah, I think you're just trying to size up a beekeeper that should just be tougher when I think they're just doing what.
Wouldn't that be as a beekeeper a walk-off if you just walk in and you start extinguishing the bees with flame?
Yeah, it's like John
and
Goodman
you don't
in
even need a
Arachnophobia.
suit.
But you're not supposed to kill the bees, Gary.
Well, it's for like optics.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Could
the
they be
honey.
fake bees?
No.
Okay.
No.
Like some type of bot bees?
Yeah.
And then you just kill them?
Yeah.
And you're killing AI as well?
Sorry, Winnie the Pooh.
Some would applaud you for
that. Okay, so yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon, the Portal Combat is now done.
Yes.
We've
today,
all Portal Combat
we
out.
wake up today on May 1st, and
And
here
we
we
may
are.
find out. We may find out, like in college basketball, some 11th hour entries that we go, whoa! Like Bryce Hopkins of Providence was being rumored. Like I'm sure there's somebody in the Big East was pushing it. Hey, he's leaving, and so Kim English had to respond. And then there may be guys that are in the portal that we don't know of that we'll hear about. At about 5:00 yesterday, I started to get people asking a question. What's up with Malachi? Now, I am blocked on Twitter by Malachi Coleman.
Still?
Yeah. And I think I went to an Elkhorn South Lincoln East playoff game, and I took a picture of him, and I said, hasn't gotten any targets in the first quarter.
You were defending him.
So then he blocked me, which is fine. But yesterday, knowing the temperature of the room, because it's portal season, he just tweeted out, and this is our fault. This is our fault that, sometimes guys complain about girls or other things on social media, and we have no idea as fans or media what they're talking about, and then we overreact. So he tweeted out, trust in new beginnings.
Right.
And the internet blew up because they thought Malachi Coleman is out the door. He wasn't healthy this spring, even though he did. He wasn't healthy enough to go through a full spring, but does look a lot better. I noticed that on Saturday because he went through warmups. He's like, and Matt Rule said he's 218 pounds. So he put that out there and immediately was, oh my gosh, he's going to be in the portal.
Yep.
Why do you think people thought that?
I don't think it's because of Malachi per se. I think it's when you see something like that that's cryptic enough that would lead you to believe new beginnings means new beginnings with another situation, another program, then that's what that means.
Don't you think if you were not somebody that lived in drama, that if you put something like that out there, we'd be like, oh man, go get him, man. I'm glad you're coming back from injury. Not think immediately you're in the portal. If you were not somebody that dabbled in drama.
That's a fair point. Yeah. If that's where, if you maybe followed Malachi a little bit more, then you do wonder.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody, if he's just somebody that head down, good teammate, goes to work, put something like out there, you're like, man, go get him, man. Bouncing back from injury, it's gonna be great.
What if Ethan Piper put that out when he was rehabbing through his knee injuries?
Yeah, we wouldn't even think twice. We'd be like, man, Ethan, I'm with you.
Yep.
Okay.
You're right.
So when you dabble in drama, you deserve to get people questioning. And it took about 3 hours later for him to tweet out to clear things up. I have no intention of entering the portal. I'm only speaking about the future of Nebraska football. If you really want to know what this program means to me, check my pinned tweet. Now, so again, I'm blocked. So I was asking people, and he had a I think the Cam Taylor Britt tweet about his weekend in Lincoln. He had pinned, and I'm like, I don't think he's. And I told the person that first reached out to me through a DM, I said, I don't think he's in the portal. But I get, if you dabble in drama and you put something like that out in the 11th hour of portal combat, people are immediately going to think you're going to transfer.
Yeah.
If you're not somebody that's ever dabbled in that, they're like, man, head down, let's go, man. I'm rooting for you.
This is an area where I do think there are student athletes, and not knowing Malachi as well as maybe some other people do, there are student athletes that I think they know exactly what type of response that's going to get. And this is sometimes when people's, I'll call it vanity, when you've been away from the spotlight, and we talked about his spring where he wasn't active physically, that, hey, we tend to start focusing on other areas of people who are active. We start focusing on what we saw, players that were making plays on Saturday. We all know in the back of our mind when Malachi is healthy, he's going to be very much part of that mix, but you're not being talked about it in the moment. Sometimes you create a cryptic gesture that is going to invoke people saying, no, please stay here and start.
If you dabble in drama, you deserve to have the responses, i.e. what goes on in Boulder.
Yeah.
That's fair. Don't fight it back. That's fair. But I'm glad that he responded. And here's the thing with Malachi.
I guess my question would be, how would you be confused that people would misconstrue that? I mean, you've got to know the climate. Not you. I'm talking about if you're Malachi. That's on you. I'm not speaking for him. I have no idea. I'm just looking as an observation of somebody I've followed for a few years. That would be my question as just an observer of, if you put that out and you have to send out another tweet to clarify what you meant, in this day and age of college athletics, when you put something out like that, the type of response it is going to get. People are immediately going to say, oh gosh, you're leaving? As opposed to get through that injury, rehab that, get ready for the next year.
And he has to have a big fall. I mean, he get to play for 11 games last year, and it was very much a roller coaster of a season that ended with him, doing off-season surgery. He's got to have a big fall, because the spots that are going to be on the field are being taken up by guys that are consistently doing their job, running the right route, are in it to win it, are a good teammate, head down, jump in line, next rep, all of those kind of things. So he needs to have a big fall. I always wonder this about Malachi, and we've been watching him for a while, and there's a lot of people that are rooting for him because he's got a great story to tell. A fantastic story to tell. So you're rooting for him to have his athletic success match the kind of person he has been off the field. Do we know what his potential is, or if he has done that, or if he's even scratched the surface? What actually is the potential? Like, has he already hit his potential? Is there more to come? Like, there's questions about just the football part of it. But he needs a big fall, stay healthy, get on the field, and then also gain the trust that on 3rd down and 8, I'm going to throw you a pass. Or if we need a big play, I'm going to you. Or you're on the field in key situations. I also am curious, as fans root for him, I mean, he has a good story to tell. You root for him. What's it like internally? Like, do they go, we have something here. Why can't you be that? And so there's frustration that kicks in. See, he's an interesting person that I think has not a huge as upside as some may ever think, but I think there's still something to be had there, that he can be a valuable, integral member of the team. But man, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking because that position is moving forward and it's not stopping at the bus stop and you're running 5 minutes late and they're going to wait for you. And here comes Tommy Boy. And next thing you know, the bus takes off and Tommy Boy is running behind the bus. If you get what I'm saying.
It's the second time in 24 hours has been a Tommy Boy reference. I think it's very complex. And this is where I would say most people that are in a highly competitive position group, especially one that needs to collectively take a major step forward, you watch the trajectory of some freshmen from a year ago in Malachi's class. What's the path right now for Jalen Lloyd? Jalen Lloyd looks like he's ready to be a stud. Everything I hear about Jalen Lloyd, from his work ethic and to his self-awareness, has served him very well in this process. And this is where we think of development with the coaching staff. Having player and coach on the same page when it comes to the development, understanding how they're going to get better. And this also falls on the coach as well. Coaches in general, of understanding how to get that type of player, whatever player, because everybody has different personalities, and a lot of guys are going to have different abilities when it comes to any position group. Some might do this better than what this other guy does, but he might do this part of the job better. Is being able to hone into to really showcase the strengths, but also improve on the weakness. And sometimes those weaknesses can not only be physical, but mental. So are both coach and player on the same page? Is competition at that position driving the player, or is it creating more of a setback, if you will?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, if you are just balling out, and I know I want to have the same type of playing time, if not more than you, I'm making sure everything you're doing, my goal is to best that every day.
Didn't you see that last year in the month of November when it was the freshman wide receivers basically all running together?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And not Malachi's fault that you're out of action right now because of an injury, but you've seen, especially a guy like Jalen Lloyd, take a major step forward, take advantage of what he learned from a year ago in that development process, and now put it forward and be able to look like a legitimate threat to be a big play guy. When Malachi is 100% healthy, is that competition going to continue to drive him to say, all right, I got some ground to make up, that I'm going to be able to best those guys, and that I'm going to put myself back into that conversation where I was, you bring up November, where he's on the field a lot. He's talked about a lot as, a high volume target potential. Is that going to make him even more hungry of what he is setting out to do? Or do you feel somewhat left out? And that's the question that I have with anybody in a similar position. But when I see a tweet like that, I look at it as somebody that should know the type of response that's going to get in this day and age. And if you don't, I think you're probably naive to what you can put out as far as motivation, compared to 5 years ago, where everybody's going to go that way. I don't believe that you didn't realize it would get that type of response and people would immediately think transfer portal. I also think there are people out there that will put stuff out there like that to gain a little bit of that. I need to be reminded that people do support me.
You think he's a drama queen?
I think that tweet was very drama queen. I think that tweet was unnecessary, and I think that there was drama with that. Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm not going to speak for him, but when you have lived in that world, there's an immediate reaction. I just know that he has to have a big fall. Their spots are filling up at wide receiver. Now, Demetrius Bell going down with an injury, does that open up a spot for somebody? But you know what? There were some young guys that haven't been here very long that got on the field this spring, and whether it be a Keelan Smith or a Ja'Cory Barney, man, there's something there. And that whole room is better. There's a lot of depth there. So are you good enough to be one of the top 6 wide receivers? That's the thing. He needs a big fall because Nebraska needs the element of what he brings, but I don't know at this point, and I'm even talking back to his junior year when he was fantastic. Noah Walters and him were great. I have no idea what his potential is. I have no idea what that looks like. You can say, well, I looked at him on film. I don't know. I watched a lot of games. There's a lot of stuff in his senior year and then last year that I can't get out of my head. But we'll see. He's got a chance to fight for a spot in the fall. And I'm glad he's staying. I didn't think he was going to transfer. But he's got to push the right button, and then we got to see how coaches and teammates, what buttons they push for him to be successful here.
I think that's a great point right there. That part of it right there more than anything.
All right, we're back with more of Mornings with Sharp and Handley after this. All right, we are back. The NBA playoffs are back again tonight, and you can get in on all the action with FanDuel. Even though the NBA playoffs are going on right now, you can be in right now because right now, new customers, you get $150 back in bonus bets with any $5 bet. That's a winning $5 bet.
Same game parlays, live bets, championship futures, much more to get in on the action. Heat Celtics tonight, Mavericks Clippers is your slate with Boston as another big home court favorite, 13.5 with the Clippers and Mavericks. Dallas also a home court. I'm sorry, Dallas is a road favorite at 3.5. Your over-unders 200.5 for the Celtics Heat and 208.5 Mavericks Clippers. You can get into all of that by going to FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Use the promo code ZONE. It's FanDuel.com/zone to get started today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. You get a lot of junk in your inbox. This one, not junk at all. 1620 The Email. Exclusive content, contests, other stuff probably. Subscribe today at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mainly dry to start Wednesday with increasing cloud cover in the morning. Shower chances go up in the afternoon, continue to increase throughout the evening. A few thunder showers possible as well. Highs top out in the upper 60s. Thunderstorms more likely overnight with heavy rain potential into Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. A crash with injuries reported at the intersection of 42nd and Francis, just south of Center. Expect delays here temporarily. And some bridge work has the area of I-80 westbound at Highway 50 very slow this morning. Expect stop-and-go traffic in the area between Giles and Highway 50. And remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Knoyer Garden Center.
Hi, this is Kathy Knoyer with Knoyer Garden Center. The beauty and color of spring is in our greenhouse. Knoyer Garden Center, located in Papillion between Highway 370 and Cornhusker on 66th Street, and in Lincoln just north of 94th and Van Dorn.
Post is roasting every morning. Post Coffee Services stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call us today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Post Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
Before Clayton Anderson became a NASA astronaut, he was a public school student in Ashland, Nebraska.
As an astronaut, flying over Ashland for the first time on the space station, all I could think of was the public school system and the people, the family, the friends who made me the human that I am today. And I thought of Alice Rakes, my science teacher who taught me to question everything and to love the scientific method. I owe it all to those people who helped me get there.
Tell us why you're public school proud at publicschoolproudnebraska.org.
Welcome to this episode of RV Ready, brought to you by Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs by Lake Manawa. Rody, where are you headed?
I'm on my way to Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs for the big open house sale.
When is it?
This Saturday, May 4th. Everything's on sale. Parts are even discounted.
Is that the one where they have Stoystitch hot dogs, prize drawings, clowns, and face painting?
You got it.
Love it.
Oh, don't forget.
The coffee's always on.
Of course it is.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
The boys of summer are back. Kansas City Royals baseball can be heard all season long on your home for Royals baseball in Omaha, 1620 The Zone and 1180 The Zone. Royals baseball is presented by J. Stinnett Contracting. We have you covered.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
R.J. Davis returning to North Carolina. Fred King returning to Creighton. Not the same.
No. Come on.
Thought you were going to say it was.
R.J. Davis will have a chance. He'll be one of the final candidates for the Wooden Award.
Have a chance to win it next year, too. Right? No? Yeah.
No, saying he's one of the candidates, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
no.
You're talking about yes. I thought you were talking about this current year, which is obviously passed, and that's already happened. Yes. Thank you.
For the olds out there, here is a little nostalgia. On this date, back in 1983,
I was 4.
Chips aired its series finale.
I remember watching this.
Ran for 6 years, 139 episodes.
Yeah. About 8 weeks old. It's great.
Thought it might be longer. Thought Chips might have had like a good decade run. I never watched one episode of Chips.
Never got into Eric Estrada?
Know who Eric Estrada is from Chips, but never watched one episode of that.
Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox.
Of course. Who could forget Larry Wilcox?
Well,
I
or
did.
Justin Wilcox.
What was it? He was Poncherelli and what was
Ponch's partner's name?
His first name was John. His first name was John.
I thought you were going to say something about Pontius Pilate there, Jimmy.
Hey, there are two shows that I wanted to run away to Los Angeles. Watching Chips and L.A. Law.
That's fair.
I was like, man, L.A. looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'd like to run away to Los Angeles.
It was Baywatch.
I ran away once. It didn't last very far. I got to the Richmond Gordman.
That's as west as you went.
That was actually pretty far. It was like a mile.
Oh,
that's
okay.
bad.
Yeah. That is actually
God, that was one of those things that, like you wanted to test your parents.
Yeah.
And when you said, I'm going to run away from home, and they're like, good.
All right.
Yeah. And you get a block away and it gets really scary.
Like,
You're on the other side of the neighborhood. You're like, this is a different world out here.
He'll be back by the end of the news.
It's
colder.
And then you have to return.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
tail tucked between your legs.
That's rough.
Was Baywatch San Diego?
No, it was
Or
LA.
It was LA? Yeah, see, that Baywatch would have done it for me. Yeah.
Baywatch made you want to move to California?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
You didn't think you'd see that at Lenoma?
No. I mean, I did one day in Manawa, but yeah.
Matt writes into the Equitable Bank inbox.
I've got a light tower.
My buddy in Johnston, Iowa, home of the Dragons, the great late Jim Mahoney, baseball coach there. I stole a lot of our kids from Urbandale because they were a growing community.
Yeah,
they have an incredible football stadium, by the way.
I got a bad memory with Johnston, Iowa.
Yeah.
When I was coaching at Millard North.
Oh.
It was our first year. This was in 2002. No, not at all. In fact, so we were going to a regional up in Minot, North Dakota. Actually, we flew to Minot, and then we met up with the Johnston, Iowa. It was their Legion team. We had to share a bus from Minot, North Dakota to Williston.
Mm-hmm.
And the two coaches were already tipping a few back. Their players were as obnoxious as could be. And mind you, we're bussing like at 12 a.m.
Yeah.
We're all tired. These guys will not shut up. And then out of the middle of the pack, I was towards the front of the bus, so I had no idea what was happening. Some dude for Johnston, Iowa stands up. He knows that the Nebraska team is in there and says, "All right, I want to know who the who the Nebraska Brawler is in here." And I'm sitting next to Corky. I'm like, "Do we need to shut this down?" He's like, "No." And within seconds, a couple of our seniors, we had a couple big dudes. One guy stands up and goes, "Sit down and shut up." And the guy next to the dude said, "Yeah, you better sit down." I just looked at the guy. Got a glimpse of who said that. So when we played them,
weak Johnston guys.
They were just obnoxious, and their coaches were saying nothing about it. They were offering us a drink. They say, "Hey, you guys want it? You guys want one?" Like, "No, we're gonna wait till we get to the hotel. We got our kids around right now." So it just wasn't impressed.
So this guy, this buddy of Matt's who lives in Johnson, he got into beekeeping about 5 years ago. Got the stung out of him about 10 times, and sold them 2 years later from trying to do it without a suit. They got PO'd easily, and there's absolutely no money in it.
That actually surprises me.
You got to build your hives, man. That's how.
Like, it's how you build your worth. You got to build that hive.
You got to build the hives.
I like that. It's like chasing the bag. Got to build that hive, son.
Greg chimes in on Chips. Chris Pine's dad was the sergeant on Chips.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Chris in Vegas has more Eric Estrada facts. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hey, two things, actually. One of them is Chips. Eric Estrada. Did you guys know, yes, he has of Hispanic descent, but he did not know a lick of Spanish whatsoever. He had to learn it to go on the Spanish or Mexican soap operas after Chips.
Really?
That's serious.
Nice.
He was, well, so I well, that's quite the story. All right.
Yeah. And one other thing is there's a baseball scandal going on here in a couple high schools. One of them is Gorman. Both Gorman and Basic High School, the coaches were suddenly removed from on the same day. Now it comes out that they were recruiting players, which is crazy because Gorman obviously is a private school, and Basic is a magnet school, which can recruit across the whole valley. Period. So, I mean, we're talking these two schools have won like 5 or 6 of the last 8 baseball championships in the state.
So they were suspended by the Nevada High School Athletic Association?
No, they were removed. Period. Not suspended. Removed.
Wow. All right.
On the days of games, and now Basic has to forfeit all of their games.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a pretty good scandal going on. Like I said, they're big. I mean, Ryan Nelson on the Diamondbacks, he played at Basic and everything. He was part of that French.
All right. I'm looking here online. So it doesn't really give any information on.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, so it looks like it's a paperwork thing on a transfer student that kicked off the investigation.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff going, rumors on that too. The paper said there was a bunch of stuff when they were both coaching at College of Southern Nevada, and some stuff that they were charging players for food and such like that, and they were removed coaching there.
Wow. Okay, well, these guys seem got a side hustle. Yeah. Everything else good, Chris?
Oh, everything else good. You guys, I'm nice to see you all safe from the tornado.
Yeah, thank you very much. Big night tonight for the Golden Knights. It's a big game.
They have to win.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they have to win,
especially after the last two.
But it's crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, nobody does. The road teams win every game. So.
Hey, Chris, thanks for the phone call. Checking in.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Chris.
More Eric Estrada facts.
Love it. That's what I came to work for today.
Okay, so I saw the movie. I saw the movie Selena, and I know that
she's not in it. She's dead.
I'm aware.
I remember
I saw that movie. Was it true that she also didn't know Spanish, and so she, even though she sang in Spanish, she didn't know Spanish fluent?
Wasn't that in the movie? I think.
Yes, it was in the movie. That's why I'm saying.
James
I don't know.
almost said it.
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't want to say. Well, it was in the movie, so that had to be truth. There might have been a little Hollywoodism there. I don't know.
Eric Estrada in 2007 was the honorary Grand Marshal of the Mother Goose Parade.
Damn, the hell is the Mother Goose Parade?
It's probably geared towards kids.
Okay. And this was in 2007?
Today is National Nursery Rhyme Day.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what you do in the
1620 the lullaby.
Let me look here. What happens where this is located? The Mother Goose Parade.
There were some really bad adult versions of nursery rhymes with one Andrew Dice Clay.
The great Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, people would remember.
Might be a shady website. Just clicked on it and said, "Congratulations, you've been randomly selected to win an Apple iPhone 15 Pro.
Good for you!
Congratulations!
Lucky day.
It is in the San Diego area.
Okay.
It is in El Cajon.
Nice.
Okay.
Good weather.
Yeah, this looks like it's the annual holiday kickoff celebration featuring whimsical floats, clowns, bands, and equestrians.
Lost me at clown.
In El Cajon.
How could you not have a good time?
Which is in the East County of East County of San Diego.
Yeah, replace the clowns with fish tacos and I'm in. And maybe
there are other things
an old Padre.
There are other things in San Diego besides fish tacos.
We have nursery rhymes power rankings.
I mean, I would love to have
delicious.
Everybody wants like an In-N-Out here or a Steak and Shake. I would like a Rubio's. If you know, you know.
I've never been to
Rubio's. Never been, but I've heard.
I don't know what it is. What do they serve?
They do serve fish tacos.
Okay.
But it's a popular, what you would consider fast food. It looks like a fast food place in
Not quite Del Taco.
Southern California that they now, I think the furthest west they've come is Denver.
Okay.
There was one that opened up in Denver, like down by Highlands Ranch, I believe. I was a big fan. I spent one of those long distance relationships I was in.
Yeah.
She lived in San Diego for a while.
That was a joint?
I spent a lot of time in San Diego.
Kids take notes.
I don't know. San Diego is beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'd be a meteorologist in San Diego in a heartbeat.
Kind of expensive to live there, though, right?
Yeah, but you get a job that pays you a lot. I'm
and
sure
you got a
they
nice
have
zoo. I mean, it's pretty much like Omaha.
You do have a zoo.
Don't tell Libby.
It's basically Omaha.
Maybe you could be homeless. You just live outside. You don't have to worry about the weather. Except it gets a little cold in the winter times.
40s.
Yeah, I guess yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Livy, so I got a little background on the Livy Dunn trip to Omaha last week.
Okay.
You know, Indianapolis and the Storm Chasers got rained out for 3 straight days, and then the Storm Chasers, as Jimmy was mentioning, is open. They got banged last night in Des Moines, so
can't play.
They've had 4 straight postponements. Their doubleheader scheduled for today. She never made it to the ballpark because they just spent time in the hotel. They were just looking to get out of the hotel, so that's how they ended up at the Creighton Georgetown game over the weekend.
Okay,
but she may be going back to school for her 5th year.
Oh,
like one of the better gymnasts of the national championship LSU women's gymnastics team is coming back. Her boyfriend last night was filthy again. He went 6 innings. What is he doing in AAA?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to the bigs, but if I'm Pittsburgh, I mean, they already know his plan.
Yeah.
And I think probably we're about to be called up. Is his Major League Baseball debut has to be at home.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way
Why not?
that the Pirates are going to give up that gate to somebody else where Skeens is pitching on the road.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't looked at the Pirates' schedule. Wait a minute. They're out on the West Coast right now because they're in Oakland.
Josh?
When they come home, I imagine that's when he'll get called up so he can start at home. And I would go.
Yeah.
If Pittsburgh was closer, I would go.
Next Doug
But
Graybeck.
he was unreal last night. And then also I saw he did something. So he was going to sign autographs here, but they never played. He signed autographs, I think, on the Thursday.
By the way, this weekend they're home against Colorado.
Okay. So
that's perfect.
So he just pitched last night, so he wouldn't pitch again until next week.
Oh.
They have a homestand though.
He stood last night in Indianapolis and signed for everybody that was in line.
I get that.
I noticed that because I saw pictures that were shared by guys I follow that are in MILB. A lot of LSU fans were in Indianapolis wearing their LSU baseball gear.
Yeah.
But he stood and he signed for what they think was about 50 minutes after the game. Like the game was over. Like he was done 6 innings, sat in the dugout. That's another thing I noticed when he pitched here. Most guys, when they're done, they'll immediately go to the clubhouse. He was in the dugout for nearly the entire game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
do you think he was signing because he knows the time is near?
No, I think he's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
good, because when they get to the majors, there's people that get involved and they don't, there's more people asking. So you don't sign as regularly because you still think the beauty of minor league baseball is that kid in the stands is just getting his autograph because he wants an autograph. Not that he's going to get your autograph and it's going to be online here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, Major League Baseball. I used to be an autograph kid when I was little. I would go to, we'd always try and stay in the team hotel so I could sit in the lobby. But look at any sport, especially like the NBA. You look at outside of a hotel that an NBA team is staying in, there are so many people there looking for autographs.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And a lot of women on the
Because
night.
Bobby Witt Jr., when he was playing here, would do the same thing. The night would be over, and you make that walk at Warner Park all the way to the
left field.
clubhouse.
Yeah.
He would stop along the railing, and he would sign autographs for as many people that wanted. And now there's people that are like, gosh, dang it, I wish I would have got Bobby Witt Jr.'s autograph when he was playing for the Storm Chasers.
Hey, let me ask you, what are you doing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 10th, 11th, 12th?
Is that when the Cubs are there?
That's when the Cubs are there.
Yeah.
So they've got the Rockies starting Friday.
You should go just because.
That is a 3-game series. Then on Monday, they have a 3-game series against the Mike Troutless Angels. And then they have a day off on Thursday. Then it's Friday with the 3-game home series against Chicago on May 10th.
So he's pitching on every about 6th day. He pitched last night. So Monday he would be back.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't push him much further than that.
Right.
You'd have
Monday's appointed.
You'd have a chance on Saturday or Sunday, May 11th, 12th.
Okay.
Ooh.
On a weekend.
Do it.
Yeah. In one of your favorite ballparks, playing your favorite team.
know.
Is it Kismet? I think so.
Get you an Iron City and sandwich and just take it in.
Yeah. So
take the show to
Pittsburgh. So got a little intel. The Duns and Skeens didn't make it much. They'd spent most of the time in the hotel because of the rain.
Yeah, they did.
She didn't get to go to the zoo. She actually was going to go to the zoo.
I believe that.
I'm sure.
Lincoln, they just had a baby penguin born yesterday at the zoo.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe yesterday.
And they're bringing the pandas back to the San Diego Zoo.
There you go. Oh, and Rubio's, by the way. Okay. Yeah.
Did you look at the menu?
Oh, he's not kidding. And steal a taco at Pirates games. Or not Pirates. What are they called? Padres.
Yeah, that team. I'm still. They couldn't do anything other than. I mean, it wasn't like raining 24 hours a day. They couldn't just get out for a stroll.
There are things you can do.
So she has
essentially it was the zoo or the Creighton Georgetown game.
Hey, so she has personal security.
Yeah,
that follows her around. She did not have that when she was here for the College World Series.
She had you.
Well, she had a very distressed Douglas County sheriffs and other people because they were like, "What is this experience?"
Right.
But she now has private security that was with her when she's at LSU and then when she's out.
They just take out.
Yeah, so they didn't do anything.
Oh, they did something.
So in the picture that when she was at the Creighton game, I got to be honest. If she was strolling around downtown, I would have recognized
She's been like
her.
another girl.
Yeah, she looks like every girl in Omaha.
I wouldn't have recognized her. But
Are you from
all
Papillion?
it takes is one person, and then I know it's been a theme. It'd be like bees.
Do you live in Elkhorn? Did you see what happened?
When we come back, what rank these for me. Think about it during the break. What are the things that you're most tired with when it comes to the college football world right now? The NCAA being sued, the portal, discussion about NIL, or Dion.
Ooh,
We'll be back to get into that when we return. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Men, listen up. You've heard me talking about mentality, and you're wondering, yeah, you're telling me about symptoms of low T. Tell me again. Well, that's why I'm here. If you have had experiences where all of a sudden you've lost interest in your spouse, your kids, you got low libido, and you're wondering, okay, is it just age? Well, maybe. But there's also other things that are going on with your body. As us men, we get a little bit older, and all of a sudden you're like, man, I can't do things. I can't focus. I got body fat. What is going on? Well, let mentality come into play here. Local healthcare facility located 117 in West Center. They are dedicated to helping us men feel and perform at our very best, and they are looking to cure low T. So when you feel like you don't have that energy and that drive, trust yourself to mentality right now to see if you have low testosterone. More questions can be answered on their website at lowtusa.com. They board-certified physicians. They have FDA-approved testosterone treatment. Schedule a physical, get in, get tested, consultation, and if you do have low T, they will help you on a path to get you taken care of, to being back to the best that you can be. And trust me, people are telling me that their B12 shots and other things, they are making entirely different in their energy levels. Recommend mentality, great staff, knowledgeable, friendly. They'll take care of you to help you take care of low T. For more information, go to the website, lowtusa.com. It is mentality.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
It's Champions replacement window season, and we're celebrating with buy 2 windows, get 2 free. If your windows are drafty, difficult to operate, or costing you money on your energy bill, it's time to replace them. Champion Windows is here to help. Champion builds our own windows right here in the USA. We make the process easy. We help you choose the best design options for your home. We then build your project in our very own factory. Our install team manages your project every step of the way, and it's all backed by our lifetime guarantee. Turn your house into your dream home with more livable space in a new Champion sunroom, or enhance your curb appeal with new siding, now 30% off. Don't wait, this sale won't last long. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and 30% off sunrooms and siding. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit championsavenow.com to schedule a free in-home estimate today. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Omaha Maverick baseball and softball only have one more home series. Baseball has won their last 5 conference series and leads the Summit League in conference wins. Maverick softball has won every conference series and is in 2nd place in the Summit. This weekend, softball takes on the 1st place South Dakota State Jackrabbits at Maverick Park. And on May 10th through the 12th, baseball plays 1st place St. Thomas. Don't forget $4 Fridays. Every Friday, soft drinks, beer, popcorn, hot dogs, and brats are all $4. Get your tickets for baseball or softball by calling 402-554-MAVS or by going to omavs.com/tickets.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage. And it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
Every Mother's Day, I stress out trying to find that perfect gift. But this year, I finally found it. The Skylight Frame. The Skylight Frame is a touchscreen photo frame your whole family can upload photos to. Even if you're all spread across the country, Mom and Grandma can share your favorite moments. The Skylight Frame is simple to set up and use. In minutes, your family can email photos straight to your mom's Skylight Frame and surprise her with those special moments. And for that perfect Mother's Day unboxing, you can preload the Skylight Frame with your favorite photos for Mom, and it'll be ready when she unwraps her gift. It's the perfect way to touch her heart and bring you all together, wherever you are. It's the gift of connection. And now, as a special limited-time offer for our listeners, get 15% off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/radio. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/radio. Get 15% off your Mother's Day purchase now at skylightframe.com/radio.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Join the VIP club and sign up for 1620 The Email. You'll be the first to know all the exciting content that's happening on 1620 The Zone daily, including sports news, contests, promotions, and so much more. Sign up today at 1620thezone.com.
Bro.
Good song.
This song, when it came out, had to be very mid at best.
Oh, yeah.
He must have been mid at best.
20 years ago, this would always play at the bar, but 12.
How much this offseason in college football have you guys talked about? Houston, Wake Forest, Tulsa, FIU, Arkansas, Michigan State?
None.
Houston hired Willie Fritz. Great hire. About it.
So all 4-8. They do not have Deion Sanders as their head coach, who also went 4-8. We have, for the first time ever in college football, we've not been able to quit a 4-8 team. And something that appeared to be dying down, The Athletic wrote an extensive piece on the players that have left Colorado. Then Shedeur Sanders jumped into the fray and ignited it and set off a firestorm yesterday, which, I don't know, is there... At this point, there's nothing like new to learn about Colorado.
No.
Like everything we know about putting a roster together, processing a roster, what it's like internally, not getting to know players' names, just worrying about the starters, not about the depth, and really only worrying about your kids and make sure that it's a reality show. There's nothing left out there that will come out about Colorado, right?
I would not think so, no.
So this Athletic piece is pretty extensive, and it talks about players that have left and their feelings on how they were treated and that they've moved on. But this was basically in the 24-hour news cycle that was going to just go by the wayside because it's another Colorado story. And at this point, I'm like worn out. You know what? If you were not 4-8, people wouldn't be writing these stories before year number 2. Or people that gave you a pass last year have teed it up.
Yeah.
But, son is protecting dad, and he went with that. Isn't he the captain? Isn't he the leader?
Yep.
Okay. I got to understand you want to stand up. People have taken shots at your dad. But I don't know if that's the best way to go about it. To crush another teammate who then, where he is at, and Nebraska will see Xavier Smith coming up at the end of August because he's at UTEP, his head coach going, man, this guy's been great. No problems. Great to know him. I mean, we can't quit Deion, can we?
No. And the question that you posed before we went to the break, what is the thing you're tired of hearing about the most? The two essentially with the Deion news cycle go hand in hand. And for me, it's the Colorado storyline, and it's the transfer portal. But a lot of the news and the drama that we continue to get with the Colorado storyline has a lot to do with the transfer portal, from what they're losing, from what they're trying to get, but then the commentary back and forth. And you're right. People, if you woke up out of a coma for over a year, you would think, man, Colorado preseason top 10, is that the trajectory of this team? Because the amount of give-a-blanks about the everyday occurrences with this football program is insane. And they know it. They know that.
Yeah, they don't care either. That's the
right.
thing.
That's the truth of it.
That's also the thing that probably riles some people up is maybe I say they don't care. I mean, they care. I mean, you've seen pushback, but they're okay playing the villain role.
Yeah. And I think Shedeur Sanders, that's who he is when it comes to what he would perceive as standing up for his dad. Is there decorum when it comes to what you say for a former teammate or anybody else that could potentially leave the team within a year or two, that if you come at Deion, you're going to have the support of his sons?
I don't know. I got to look at Sam Hoiberg's Twitter account, see if he went after Jamarcus Lawrence.
I don't believe Sam did.
We just can't quit Deion here.
No.
If you're not 4-8, if you had a winning record in your first year, people wouldn't be talking about this. You can go about your own way of developing a roster.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't. September 7th, I have no idea what you're going to get. I think they'll start quick out of the gate again, but they'll have no depth. I don't know how they develop chemistry.
Right.
And what this looks like when it's all said and done and the Sanders are no longer in Boulder. I think, we have a local Buff fan. He's a diehard Josh. We have so many bets for this upcoming year. I've forgotten them. At some point, you do have to be tired and just like, man, can we just
get this
focus on football?
Yeah, just get this football part of it.
Just play football.
Yep.
Okay. But all of this build up, and this won't go away. This is going to continue.
Well, because you keep getting sound bites too. You keep getting quotes. You keep getting things.
It will lead to the most energetic, loud, angry crowd on September 7th that I think will eclipse any previous Colorado-Nebraska game.
Night game.
And remember what we did in the 90s when Colorado rolled into Lincoln.
Yep.
That's what this is all leading to.
Come on.
And it also leads to, I told you this a month ago, there's only one game on the slate that you're going to win.
Yeah.
At week number 2, that might be the one that you would have to select.
Yep, it is.
I don't think night game.
Oh,
I know
I
people want a night game.
I think it's going to be 2:30.
I think CBS at 2:30.
Yeah.
I can do that. That's okay.
2:30
is okay.
I remember talking to Rob Zadiska about the 94 game when game day was here, and
was good.
There was a palpable hatred because Colorado was kind of the darling of college football at that point too. It wasn't just
they just had the Hail Mary a month before.
Yes, they did against Michigan.
Well, they also showed up wearing
yes,
the T-shirts.
Yeah,
that said the real black shirts.
Right.
Wear black.
And Rob Zadiska manufactured a false story that they were
legendary
talking trash about the pipeline. Found out later that they didn't say what Rob told his teammates, which was fantastic. But there was, I think with the team itself, there was a palpable hatred. I think to an extent, I think that extended to the crowd. I think that was more.
92, by the way, 94 was energetic. 92 was off the charts angry.
The absolute
a year
beatdown.
After the tie in Boulder.
This, I would agree with you though, Gary. I think this one, I mean, remember, social media didn't exist back then. So you didn't have to live in that constant cycle of this. And Mac was a polarizing head coach, but nothing to the level of what you're seeing with Deion Sanders.
You mean Promise Keeper guy who a couple years before knew he got 5 downs and won a national championship?
That's right.
That's the guy we're talking about, right?
That's the guy we're talking about.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Thought you were going somewhere else with that, but you're pacing yourself.
Polarizing, see? But everything that we've seen in the new world of college football that has geared around that story in Boulder, but also creating some of the false narratives. Speaking of Shedeur Sanders, what he had to say about Matt Rule after the game, when we talked about false truths or half truths that coaches will try to rile up their team. Colorado clearly doing that. The players feeding into that. The players giving that back to the media. I don't want to say that this has been such a disrespectful angle that they've taken in Nebraska. This is just the way they've gone about going into each game. But it resonates when you do have a little history with this program as well. And then given what happened a year ago, it's building to something big. I don't think there's any question that this thing, the comparison is made. Let's have that venue. And of course, this was a night game. We're all hoping it would be a night game of the 2014 Miami game. And again, there's history with that Miami program as well. This thing, I think, will be incredibly hostile. Hostile that I've maybe never seen Memorial Stadium in the last 20 years that I've been following and been watching Nebraska games.
I think there'll be a legit 85, 87,000 people.
Very angry.
I think it'll be like legit people will use their tickets for this game.
There won't be empty seats for that one.
All right. That is, what is that? 127 days away? If I'm trying to do the math off the top of my head.
122 yesterday.
I think that's going to come back to bite Dion with the way that he goes about building his roster. When they allowed players unlimited transfers, that really hurt Colorado because they could get the one and they'd have to stick around.
Yep.
But now that they can get unlimited, that hurts Colorado more than anybody else.
Works both ways.
All right, 8:07. Evan Bland will join us. Brandon Vogel still to come. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you want to go to that game? Oh, yes, you do. Tickets for Less is a place you need to start looking. You want to go to the big game of the concert? You know what I've done? I'm, like you, headed straight to ticketsforless.com. Transparent upfront pricing, no annoying service fees when you get to check out, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, the fees are larger than the tickets. That's right. At Tickets for Less, you don't worry about that. The website, easy to use. The price you see is the price you pay. And the best part, if you use my promo code right now, The Zone, all one word, The Zone at checkout, you're going to score some sweet savings on your next order at ticketsforless.com. Every seat holds a story. You've gone there before. Go there again. See the great selection, best prices, everything up front, and no per-ticket fees at ticketsforless.com. And do not forget to use my promo code, The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Delays picking up a little bit. No accidents to report, but some slow traffic dodge westbound between 108th and 120th. Also moving slow I-80 westbound between Giles and Highway 50 currently due to that bridge work. And JFK northbound slowing down between Childs and Chandler right now. Please stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
They're out there. 8 beautiful new red 2024 trucks in Trucks and Butts from the Nebraska Lottery. And you could win one. Just visit any Nebraska Lottery retailer and pick up some tickets today. Top prize odds, 1 in 336,000.
Hey, Brianna, look at you, graduating already.
Yeah, knocked out my gen eds in 2 years at MCC.
And now you're off to
finish my 4-year degree at the university.
That was fast. I'll bet your mom
loves that. We saved thousands in tuition.
Now that's smart.
That's Metropolitan Community College.
Knock out your gen eds in 2 years before transferring to a 4-year university. Get started at mccneb.edu/me. Classes start June 5th.
This is me at MCC.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
At Churco, Chef Dave blends the distinctive food of Northern Italy with the melting pot of American cuisine to bring a unique fusion of style and flavors to West Omaha. From fresh pastas handcrafted daily to house-dry aged steaks, focaccia bread baked daily. Churco is perfect for date night or any night. Churco features crafted unique cocktails, an extensive Italian and American wine list, and a robust happy hour Tuesday through Sundays. Churco, located at 192nd and Q, and CIRCOOmaha.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
And I wanted to drive on the double-decker freeways in Los Angeles.
Top 5.
That theme music, wow. That just don't scream 70s, 80s. I don't know what does.
Who didn't want to be a motorcycle cop back then? Those guys were cool.
Give me a Tom Selleck mustache. I know he wasn't in Poncho.
And then when I was able to drive and I was in Los Angeles, I did not want to drive on the double-decker freeways.
I can imagine that, yeah.
A couple emails from the last segment here on Sharp and Handley. Jimmy, into the Equitable Bank inbox. John says we will need a new Sal's filter at September 7th. You create the hate. Joey says I say we boycott talking about Colorado until they do anything relevant.
Joey,
but it's there for you.
That makes too much sense. I don't know, that's the problem. There's just always something. There's always something there. Something to get a reaction. Are they playing us? Maybe they're playing us. Not you and I or the studio, but the national narrative of finding a way to stay relevant despite a 4-8 season. That you can continue to be part of the conversation. And that's not going away anytime soon.
Hey, Tiger Woods on the Today Show looks old.
Yeah. See, that's my Tiger.
So Tiger Woods and Mike Trout are building a golf course in New Jersey. So Tiger is on the Today Show.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But he's still built like
he's still Tiger,
but a brick you-know-what house.
Yeah.
He and Carson are comparing all the you-know-what.
Does he have something coming out? I think he's doing the car wash today in New York City.
Yeah. Is there a new book? Is this a book?
Remember when he wouldn't do interviews and he was very terse?
Yes.
Becomes so much comfortable. That's what happens when you get older, I think.
Yep.
Today is May Day. It is also high school portal season. So if you are not in your school by today, then you're not eligible to play in the fall. So we will be having, I think Jimmy and John on After Hours will take care of this. They will do a high school portal show.
Yeah.
We'll say this. Some of it's already, you got Chase Lofton, left Elkhorn North, went to Millard South. Omaha North is without their starting quarterback and their dynamic wide receiver. They moved to Arkansas. There's been a couple other movements of high-profile players in the metro area where they're going to be playing somewhere else next year. Some of it's known because they're being recruited. So their school that is being mentioned, you're like, whoa, they don't play there. I think you guys made a mistake. No, they transferred there. But today is high school portal day. So congratulations to all the boys and girls out there that have moved to their respective school and got in before the NSAA deadline.
Did you make new friends?
Well, the show coming up at 6 to discuss
Signing day coverage.
Sebastian Serco or Mikey Gow at Omaha North. Larry Martin will join us next.
Who will you sit next to
we
at
did,
lunch?
so
on
I'm
the first
not.
day of your school?
This will come out here shortly. There's a pretty good player in the metro that moved out of the area. That's okay. Omaha schools go to Lincoln and try and recruit Lincoln players nowadays.
Like the kid left the Omaha area?
Yeah.
We don't have those every day. It was
No,
the
he's
first time in 50 years.
Going to be pretty well recruited left here. But that's okay. Again, if somebody leaves Omaha, the Omaha schools now go to Lincoln to try and convince those kids to come to play high school football in Omaha.
Safer here.
We're better than Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You could take your illegal recruitment stories out there in Las Vegas, and
We're better than Nevada.
we
We
don't
got
need, we don't
casinos
need to
right
go all
there.
the way there.
It is also on May 1. It is Seat Yourself Process Day.
What?
How about the email yesterday?
Oh, this is the email. Okay.
I don't know if so the email I thought you were referring to as the Pete Ricketts email.
Excuse me?
The Pete
Oh, yeah,
Ricketts
we
email.
got that too.
About
Pete Ricketts email?
Yeah, about
That the Cubs finished April 18 and 12, and I'm okay with it?
No, this is Pete Ricketts and U.S. senators that are calling for the Department of Homeland Security
See, I
to
already
protect
deleted
international college athletes' access to name, image, and likeness. We like to call this the K-Say bill.
Okay, back to
Anyway.
what am I most tired about? The NCAA getting sued, the portal, NIL, or Dion. No. Big news yesterday. Popped into my email box because
You are him.
I am going to look at moving seats from the South Stadium.
Okay.
Oh.
So yesterday,
big development
all of
for
the
you.
Okay.
So now you know the email I'm talking about?
I haven't seen the email, but I know the story you're referring to.
So all season ticket holders got a email yesterday because it is Seat Yourself process that begins today. You can change or you can purchase new tickets. There's some pretty good availability in the stadium, but the other part of it is, and this is the bigger one, is Nebraska is changing sidelines.
Oh, yes. We talked
So
about
have you
this at
seen
home
this?
I
last
saw that they were changing sidelines.
So it changed. They used to be on the west sidelines. Now remember, Memorial Stadium used to have a track. So the stadium has changed a lot, but back in the 60s, they used to have a track that surrounded the field. Then Devaney got here and they moved over to the east sideline, except for 1 year during COVID. The COVID season, Nebraska was on the west sideline. And I went to every game, and sitting upstairs, it took a little bit to get used to because I'd only known Nebraska being on the east sidelines. But as things have changed, Nebraska now comes out of a different spot with the tunnel walk, and it's very janky. You come out and you make a quick left. Instead of running where you were in the other corner, you would run out, and the sideline would be right in front of you. So this was something that Scott Frost brought up, but he never pursued. Matt Rule brought up right away, and Trev says, we're going to get this done. And now it is done. Nebraska football will be on the west sideline for the 2024 season and beyond. So they let season ticket holders know this because I imagine that's a weird. So, the TV cameras are over there.
Mm-hmm.
The sideline, from the sideline to the fence, is a lot tighter compared to the east sideline.
Yep.
You have a lot more room on the east sideline. I imagine that this whole process is going to lead to Nebraska redoing the field, maybe grass. And so you're going to have to change the sidelines, that they're going to have to get rid of some rows over on the West Stadium. Because let's be honest, if you are in the first 4 rows, I don't know how you ever see.
No,
I know
I
got a friend who loves his front row seat, and I'm like, you are absolutely crazy. So I think they're going to have to probably get rid of some rows. They're going to have to change like where that fence is and kind of what they do over there. But they are moving to the West Stadium. For right now, ticket holders over there will not be impacted, but that will not be the case in the future. My question is, and this came up once we saw what Frost did during the COVID year, why did it take so long? Because it makes so much sense.
Yeah. And it's a great question. I have no clue why. It's not schematically that tough. You're going from one side of the field to the other where, okay, you're still going to have to accommodate all the equipment that you're going to have over there, everything from, the sideline space that you need, what do they have? They have the big, like the big cases and everything, all the stuff that you would have regardless that you have room there. I've never understood, especially in a time, and this is even before the Jim Harbaugh part of it and the sign stealing that happened, that this is college football, that they always do use that. And you're always looking for that type of competitive advantage, whether you make it known or not, that you're able to tip things off. You get that clear view across the way on the east side of it compared to the west side of it and looking straight down. I've never understood why it was something that was mentioned but never actually happened until someone said, yes, okay, we're finally doing this. Let's just do it right now. I don't know. I have no clue why they pointed.
It's a smart play by Nebraska. It's a home field advantage because of the weather. I mean, you're going to be on the east sideline. You're going to sit there and bake, especially in September, and you're going to be in the sun in October. But then, you got shadows. It changes. This is like a home field advantage, whether it be a competitive where you can't pick up somebody's signs or whatever. And I think that probably plays into it, maybe to a lesser degree with in-helmet communication. But this just makes sense. And we spent, because it was COVID, we spent time talking about this when they did it for 1 year. And I brought it up last year when you saw the new tunnel walk entrance. It's really awkward.
Yeah, because you go,
yeah.
And so, well, should we just credit the tunnel walk now? Now you have
part of that.
They changed it, so now you have the direct path.
I think part of that and rule, like, hey, why aren't we doing this? And then I also think they're going to redo the surface.
Okay, I'm curious. That's interesting to me. By moving that, why that would actually lead to, because this was something that was brought up on Monday.
Because what I've been told, if you go grass, it's going to be a lot wider.
Oh, okay.
So the grass footprint would go out a little bit further. But they're going to, I imagine before this season, they got to do something with the west sideline, because where that fence is, there's not a ton of room over on that sideline, on the visiting sideline. And then, of course, the walkway. If you look at, there's all kinds of traffic behind there, along with the TV camera that goes back and forth from basically goal line to goal line. So they'll have to make some adjustments. I just think this is a smart play for, you're looking, what's the best home field advantage we can get with sun, weather, all of that kind of stuff, being on the west sideline. I just, now me being very curious wants to know what's the next step with what happens with that part of the stadium. Because I think 3 or 4 rows they're going to have to eliminate.
Now that I think about it, the amount of space between the front row on the west side and then where you actually do have that fence, because you do, and I actually noticed this on Saturday too, just seeing a lot of people, especially as people started filing out, walking around in that area. You have a lot of room that you can push that back. But as far as the seats itself, do you think you necessarily need to take a couple of those rows out if you're going to, do you have to go that big?
Because you're going to expand out. You got to make that sideline larger.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you are taking people that are walking back and forth, and a TV truck is like right on top of you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point about the TV truck part about it, because that is where the access is going to be. I was thinking, hey, you could just move it all the way back, kind of like what you see at Kinnick or what you saw at, I think Oklahoma still has it, where the sideline goes right into the stands there. You can't necessarily do that. If you were able to, you'd have a lot of space just to take it back without even removing any seats. But yeah, you do have to have that.
Now, here's the other element that comes into play before we ever know what was going to happen with the South Stadium is you flip. The visitors are now on that side. And it makes sense where they come out of their tunnel. They run straight to the sideline. They don't make that, hey, we take 5 steps and we're, on our sidelines. Is the band and the students will be right behind the visiting bench now before they ever move to, if that's still the plan for them to move to the middle of the South Stadium.
By the way, are you looking at seats?
No, I would not. That's out of my price range.
Okay. So
not there.
So what are they doing for the Southies though? Did you guys get any kind of update?
No.
Okay. So that's what I hadn't heard if there was any type of plan for the Southies, as you like to refer to yourself.
Get a T-shirt.
I am becoming a big fan of that 600 level.
It's nice. You got
it's the newest.
It's right there.
It's the newest level.
I know it's way up there.
I like it. Great view.
Did you say they took care of the bugs because of the LED lights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first year wasn't very good. Oh, I'm a fan up there. That
doesn't make you nervous being up that high.
I think the best part of that stadium is the East Stadium. Once you get up to the second level and all the way up to 600, I think East Stadium is the best place to watch a football game there.
After sitting up there, I'd have to agree with him.
It's a little high up.
I've done south. I've done north.
Taste. Not because I need to be closer. I don't do well with heights at 45 all of a sudden. I don't know why.
No, I'm not judging.
It was not a thing 10 years ago. It wasn't anything I think 5 years ago. I was at Mile High.
2 miles high.
About 5 years ago. And we were essentially, if I really wanted to reach, I feel like I could hit the light bank.
That's
and as we were going down into the first entryway into the upper area to go get a beer, I felt like I was walking on a straight downhill descent, and it freaked me out. If I misstep, that I would just fall into the field, and I would plummet to my death. And I'm sure it wouldn't happen. Yeah. I don't know. The mind plays weird tricks when you get older and you are at certain heights.
It's like river.
I've never had that issue before, where I feel like, man, I'm looking straight down. I'm not.
Old Yankee Stadium with that slope down there.
Oh,
well, the worst is guaranteed rate in Chicago. The upper deck at White Sox games.
That's why nobody goes.
Among other things.
Yes. Well, among 6 and 23.
Yeah.
Evan Bland's going to join us. His thoughts on what happened last night downtown and what's ahead for Nebraska as they enter the month of May, which you still think they'll be back here in 3 weeks to play in the Big Ten tournament, which if they weren't, well, that discussion will be kind of interesting. We'll talk to Evan about that and other things. Brandon Vogel still to come. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, Lindley Clothing they can guarantee you this. Let me tell you this. They can guarantee that you're going to look good, you're going to feel good, but they can't fix your golf game. And they're like, whoa, does John play golf? Yeah, John plays golf. I even think Marlene plays golf. Well, they've got fantastic golf gear. I talk about the suits there and the jeans and pants you can get, whether at Lindley Clothing or well-suited. They've got fantastic golf gear. Peter Millar and Johnny O have gotten in the golf game, and you can see their fantastic display at Lindley Clothing. Also, they got these great tech golf pants from Ballon and golf shoes from Johnson & Murphy, all right there at Lindley Clothing. Don't forget, spring is sprung, so you got Lindley Clothing, well-suited. They are ready to get you ready. Well-suited, perfect option to get great styles for less. Top-notch staff, both places, they're right next door to each other. They will find exactly what you need for any special event. Weddings, graduations, anything you're going to, turn your fit over to Lindley Clothing and Well Suited, conveniently located in the Linden Market, 132nd and West Dodge.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I cannot believe you didn't want to watch Hook. What a classic
I've never
movie.
seen Hook either.
Yeah, but Nick, you're 5. John was alive in the mid-90s.
I didn't see every single movie.
You didn't see anything. You're a big dumb idiot. I'm working at the gas station again, watching the 94 Orange Bowl. Watch some damn movies, John.
I've seen
and listen to Nirvana. Hell yeah.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mainly dry to start Wednesday with increasing cloud cover in the morning. Shower chances go up in the afternoon, continue to increase throughout the evening. A few thunder showers possible as well. Highs top out in the upper 60s. Thunderstorms more likely overnight with heavy rain potential into Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. The bridge work being done on Highway 50 over I-80 is causing delays, especially southbound backed up right now to Giles. And that Dodge eastbound traffic picking up starting around 180th and westbound slow right now starting around 108th. Please be safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
I have never seen this before. Hi, John with Saul's Jewelry and Loan. The price of gold is the highest it's ever been. Now is the time to get the best price on your broken jewelry, chains, and diamond jewelry. Saul's has been around a while, and trust us, now's the time. Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Spring has arrived, and Lenaha has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. The best shrubs, perennials, and freshly dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lenaha Nurseries, your homegrown headquarters since 1974. Think spring. Think Lenaha's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, 34 past the hour on a Wednesday. Happy May Day, everybody. We've made it to May. At the end of the month, they'll announce the field of 64 on the road to Omaha. Will the two teams that play downtown be in it? The confusion continues. Creighton great in the midweek, not so good on the weekend. Nebraska the opposite, but Nebraska has a huge game tonight against Kansas State. So we bring out a good friend from the Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland, to help us through the confusion. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hey, guys. Happy May Day.
Do you guys do May baskets, or was that a thing when you grew up?
It was when I grew up.
Okay, good.
And now I think people have shied away from, dropping off strange baskets and ringing the doorbell and running off. It's like the anti-Halloween.
You put it that way. It does sound kind of bad.
That is a great point that the rest of us that know Chris Hansen overlook. So is Nebraska baseball good, not great, or can they be great, or what are they after this month of April, which was a little up and down?
I think Nebraska baseball is a team with good weekend starting pitching that hasn't been able to find it in the midweek. That's the thing that I took away from the game against Creighton last night was like, if Nebraska had Brett Sears or Mason McConaughey or even Will Walsh on the mound, like you probably like their chances for those pitchers to give you a quality start, and maybe the offense can get you 4 or 5, and for that to be enough. But I guess what I keep seeing is like Nebraska is just not as comfortable kind of figuring it out and saying like, okay, let's give it to this freshman or to this struggling sophomore, or go one inning at a time with guys, because there just seems to be 1 or 2 innings along the way where things go sideways on them. And like Creighton is fascinating to me as the opposite, where they don't really have that starting pitching, but they have this depth of arms where they're not afraid to put a guy out there for 1 or 2 innings, and generally they're going to get the job done. And then they have the clutch hitting, and so it's confounding. I think both of those teams, when they play, it's so fascinating to see how one dominates the midweek, the other one can't buy a win there, and vice versa. And of course it played out further. But I think if you're Nebraska too, the other part that's probably gets overlooked a little bit in the midweek is how the offense it doesn't score runs at the rate that you would expect a top 40 team in the country to do. Like you look around in the midweek scores every Tuesday or Wednesday, and you see the top teams scoring 10, 11, 12 runs, and Nebraska struggled to get 5. And they struggled, in previous games against Kansas to really add it up too. So I think that's maybe the most disappointing part has been, okay, Nebraska kind of is what it is with the depth of pitching, but the offense just hasn't been able to bail it out like you would expect maybe a top team to do.
Is that where it could be hard to read this team in a postseason format, to where if you get into a situation where a team is forced to whole staff it, like we've seen Creighton do in the midweeks, and even in the Big Ten tournament, if you have a deep run in the Big Ten tournament where a team is put in that situation where they're going to present that type of pitching matchup to Nebraska, that there isn't that same type of confidence, because it almost seems like when Nebraska is able to settle in on a guy, obviously Brecht was a bad example, but settle in on a guy that they get more looks at and I think a lot of college baseball teams would feel that way too. You're able to get more looks. You feel more comfortable with what you're seeing, that when all of a sudden you change from a righty to a lefty, or you're playing the matchup, or you're seeing different arm angles, that Nebraska offensively, collectively anyway, is not able to settle in.
Yeah, I think they would tell you that there have been a lot of instances this year where they just haven't been able to adjust. I mean, there were games where they would go against more soft tossers, and they just wouldn't be able to, in the middle of the game, say, okay, hey, we're not facing a guy with mid-90s velocity right now. Like, there's no need to rip this thing early. So, like, I think that's one area where it's been disappointing. I like to track a lot of different things with the games. One of them is like how well does Nebraska wear down an opposing pitcher? And when you kind of look at through their body of work this year, they actually do a pretty good job of getting the pitch counts up and getting guys out of games earlier than they want to be. And you look even at the Creighton game last night, I think Creighton threw 30 more pitches, and I know that's partly because Nebraska didn't or Creighton didn't bat in the 9th, but you see that pretty consistently, where Nebraska's the team that's grinding out at bats a little longer. What's just confounded them in April has been the lack of the big hit. And sometimes I think we overthink things a little bit, and in a lot of ways, it's really just come down to, hey, Nebraska worked a walk or two, maybe they had an infield hit, and then they struck out, or they grounded out, or whatever. And so, like, I still think there's untapped potential, like realistic potential for that offense to get better if you just get a couple of big hits, like just in the moment. And it doesn't have to be a long ball, a single in the gap, something like that. And it's just been an area of frustration for them. And now you've got Caden Brumbaugh, who's been out for a couple games. He's been one of their better bats atop the order too. So, I do think there's still something left in there for the team to get better. But certainly the clutch hitting, I think, especially in April, has been one area where you can point to and say they're still getting on base at a pretty similar rate. They're just not getting them over and in at the rate that they did the first 6 weeks.
So, as we look at college baseball and teams that are in this part of the country that, when they're the midweek games we all kind of share the same opponents after you get through the first couple of weeks of the non-con, is you've written about it, we've talked about it, and this is now trending for Will, is their trouble in the midweek. And I give, and people will point to pitching, but I also give them credit. They found a way to piece together and develop guys on the weekend, which is, takes on a lot of importance. But how do you think, and it's not like, Will is like looking for solutions. Evan, what do you think this stretch will do to will it change the philosophy on how Will looks at midweek, how he develops a roster, or who he has as his starting pitcher? What do you think the last 2 years does in the offseason for him, how he looks at Tuesdays and Wednesdays playing in April and May?
Well, what I think is interesting here is you look, okay, so last year, Nebraska at this point in the season was out of the at-large conversation. They ended up going 3-6 in the midweek a year ago. Mm-hmm. And those games that they lost, a lot of them absolutely killed any chances that they had. They lost to a lot of smaller schools. And so their philosophy in the offseason was to beef up that part of the schedule. And so you had Wichita State for 2, and you had Kansas for 2, and you had a second game against Kansas State, and you drop off, quite honestly, a lot of the Summit League competition that they had. And so the record now, they went 6-6 in midweek last year. So right now they're 3-6, but it doesn't really ding you as much because you're playing power competition and oftentimes on the road. So they lose to Creighton last night, and they actually bump up a spot in the RPI because it went down as a quad 1 road loss. So I think this is exactly where Nebraska needs to be, where they can say, okay, we're limited in who we can schedule in the midweek, but if you make it some of these more quality foes, it's sort of, you can't really lose. Either you win the game and it helps your resume, or you lose the game and you still sort of tread water. And so I think for Nebraska, their RPI is still going to be crafted mostly in the non-conference in February and March, fair or otherwise. That's just kind of how it is. And then you can make up a little bit more in the midweek if you schedule strong. Whereas again, if you lose, maybe it's not what you want it to be. But I think like anyone, obviously you'd love to have a fourth starter, that guy that can give you 4 or 5 or 6 innings on a Tuesday. That'd be the ideal. Nebraska doesn't have that right now. Maybe they will in another year with Rob Childress working with some of these young guys. Caleb Clark last night goes 3 scoreless in relief, and he's praising Rob Childress afterward about some of the mechanical work that they've done in the last few weeks. So I think there's still, a realistic outcome where maybe Nebraska is in a better spot in that way next year. But I think if anything, they've learned, schedule hard in the midweek, and it's in a lot of ways kind of a no-lose situation.
Evan, isn't confidence a funny thing when we look at these two teams, and you've had a chance now to see them go head-to-head 3 times this year, that you can have the success in the midweek like Creighton, yet it's hard for me to think that there's not a mental component on the weekend that doesn't exist that does on the midweek games. Yet Nebraska can take it on the chin the way that they have in the midweek, yet they feel pretty confident with their place in the Big Ten and the competition that they have. And I can't make any real sense of it, of why that is the case. But you saw Will talking to the team in the dugout, didn't go out to right field, was in the dugout for a very long time. This one hurts. He's a competitor. Will's a dog, and we know that. That's how he plays, how he coaches, and that's what he wants out of his team. But I am curious, once you get on that bus, if you're Nebraska, you still feel pretty comfortable in your own skin knowing that you still have a very good situation in the Big Ten where you are right now, and a good RPI situation too. It's baffling to me when it's the exact opposite for Creighton.
Yeah, it was funny last night being at the game, and I asked both coaches and players on both sides, what do you make of this? The whole midweek versus weekend thing. And nobody really had a great answer. Everyone was kind of like, you kind of throw out some theories and things like that. Ed Service was saying, like, man, he felt like on the weekdays, that's when they just kind of go out and play and they're relaxed and they're not worried about, the Big East standings and, hey, it's a 1 or a 2 big league maybe. And then you got Nebraska on the other side. And they're just like, yeah, we take these seriously too. Like, we're trying and they just can't get it done because of one bad inning or two. So it's two really interesting resumes. Obviously, from an RPI standpoint, Nebraska's in the better position still as a top 25 team. You look ahead and really they have 2 midweeks left. Kansas State tonight. You take care of business in the Big Ten and you're comfortably in to the NCAA tournament. Creighton's is a much more interesting resume to me. 11-0 in the midweek. Some really strong ones of late with Coastal and then Nebraska, but you're not even in your own league tournament at this point. So how do you sort of reconcile those things? Their RPI would tell you they still have a lot of work to do in that regard. But that's a team that has confidence today. Who knows if they will against St. John's this weekend. Right. But I can tell you that Nebraska is happy to be done with Creighton. I think they're going to be happy to be done with the midweeks here really soon because that's their strength. Like if their best foot forward is going to be that Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday spot. And I think just we've learned time and again that depth of pitching in terms of a fourth starter just isn't a strength of this team this year.
Hey, as Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald joins us, we know that there's a first round guy in this league in Brody Breck, and we saw him pitch on Sunday. But Nebraska has the best RPI, and then you have to go a little bit of ways. How would you describe 2024 Big Ten baseball?
It's been weird. Like if you look at the top of the standings, they're a little more top heavy than you would tend to see at this point in the year. I mean, Purdue and Illinois are co-1s, and Indiana's right there. And, I don't think you can count Iowa out yet, but like none of those teams really did anything to move the needle in the non-conference. And so, Maryland is okay. That's a team that could contend to, but like, I think it sets up an interesting conversation for next year to say, okay, when you add UCLA and USC and Washington and Oregon, like what does that do for the league? What fascinates me is like, does the addition of those 4 teams bring up the league, or do those 4 teams sort of sink to the mid-major status that the Big Ten's in? Because you look over at what those teams are doing and they're not blowing you away. I mean, UCLA has been a number 1 seed and a national seed in the recent past, but they're not this year. Oregon's kind of in a similar spot to where Nebraska is. USC hasn't been very good. Washington's backslid. So like, the Big Ten kind of has been what it is. Maybe it'll increase its exposure a little bit under Tony Petitti, who did a lot of work at the major league level in that way as a TV executive. But I'm not convinced that the addition of those teams is actually going to bring the league up that much. Like, and I think that's kind of that opinion of mine has changed maybe in the last year or so. But we'll see kind of how that goes. It's just I think the Big Ten's content where it is as sort of a mid-major in college baseball. They're the big kahunas in football and a player in college basketball. But for whatever reason, they just haven't jumped aboard in that way on the baseball field. So I think it's tended to be a 3-bid league. I think this year it's probably going to be maybe a 2-bid league, maybe 3 if someone gets hot in Omaha and steals a bid, but not an overwhelming season for the conference in that regard for sure.
I want to do a little comparisons, especially as we get into May here and we look at what Nebraska has in front of them when it comes to trying to catch Purdue. Unfortunately, they don't play Purdue and Illinois. We know that. But a team that we look at that looks like they're going back to the NCAA tournament. And we think about that team that won the Big Ten in 2021, where you had good offense. Pitching was solid. You had a surefire definitive closer in Spencer Schwellenbach coming out of the bullpen. When you look at this team, if there's a characteristic that you say, yep, this is not only how they got there, but this is how they can make things interesting in a regional. Comparing to that 21 team, is there any similarities or anything that really defines this team in your opinion that you think, yep, that's where they would get it done?
The starting pitching, I suppose, probably the Friday, Saturday guys. I mean, you always felt good with Cade Povich as your ace back in 21,
Right.
and I think you feel pretty similarly now with Brett Sears. He had kind of the one-off night recently, and Nebraska still was able to pick him up. I don't think maybe they've lost one of his starts this year, but he's undefeated, so I think you probably start with that. I think the offense, kind of the makeup of the offense, is similar, where they have a little bit of pop, but really, like, what they're going to do is rack up pitch counts and take walks and push the envelope on the base paths and execute a hit and run.
Yeah.
Their bunt game's probably not quite as good as it was in 21, but it's still a threat. So I think those kind of offenses can get on runs in the NCAA tournament. Kind of reminds me of Oklahoma from a couple of years ago, when you're really fast and just kind of able to make opposing defenses uncomfortable. But the defense probably isn't as good as it was in 21. They don't have that surefire closer the way that they did back then. So I think it's really this group has done it more through kind of the sum of its parts than maybe with the star power. There's not even necessarily that guy or two in the lineup specifically that's going to scare opponents. It's kind of been a collective effort. And so I think when you have a guy like Sears or now Mason McConaughey on the mound, you feel pretty good about your chances. But if it's somebody else, then I think you're probably going to have to see some kind of a surprise or somebody do something they haven't done if it gets into a situation where Nebraska is deep into a regional and needing to maybe rely on a little more depth.
It's a good point about the offense, because I would agree with you there. I wanted to ask you, because you brought up they had a surefire closer in 21 and Spencer Schwellenbach. We've seen, I believe it's at least two that have 4 saves apiece between Dice, Sanders, and then Worthley. It is hard not to be impressed when Jalen Worthley gets the ball. And I know he gave up the home run yesterday, but what he possesses, if you were to look ahead and there is a big-time regional game that you got to give the ball to in that situation, where are you going right now, Evan, given where those three, if we're just making it with those three, Dice, Sanders, and Worthley, where do you think Nebraska goes?
Today, probably Worthley, I would say. And that's been, what a step forward for him, for the Lincoln East guy. He was someone who fought his command last year, who fought his command in summer ball. And he said last week, had a chance to talk with him last week, just about how, again, Rob Childress helped him with his mechanics. And you kind of look at his progression this season, where he's gone from kind of a mid-level arm to maybe the first or second guy out of the bullpen that they like. They like his velocity. They like his stuff. They like his makeup. And so, he's somebody I think long-term Nebraska views as a starter. I think this summer they're going to send him out to work on being a starter, and maybe even next season he could be one of those guys in the rotation. So what'll be interesting to me is we're more or less after today through the midweek portion of things for Nebraska. So, like, if you get into that theoretical regional situation, who's your fourth guy if you're coming back on the loser's side? Like, do you feel good with Caleb Clark? Maybe. Do you feel good with Ty Horn, who's been the unluckiest pitcher Big Red has had in a number of years?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Worthley. Maybe you give him a couple innings too. So I think in the future, he's certainly going to be a big part of what Nebraska has going on. And in the present, he's a big part of their bullpen too.
Great stuff as always. I appreciate the conversation. Evan, enjoy tonight for Nebraska and Kansas State. Pretty important game for both teams.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks, guys.
That's Evan Bland from the Omaha World Herald. Nebraska and K-State. Haymarket Park tonight at 6. K-State's RPI was 31 yesterday. I don't know if you looked.
Let's see.
That's
I got it right here.
That's a big bounce back game for Nebraska. And I don't think they know who's starting. Johnny Holstaff, come on down.
Well, and that was what I would think if you didn't need to use Caleb Clark, and obviously they had to, that would have been the guy that they would like to roll out there possibly. And here's some good news, I think, for Nebraska. Caleb Clark, in his last 2 appearances against Creighton especially, he's looked the part. He's starting to regain a little bit of that starter swag. K-State is 32.
Okay. So
they dropped 1 after not playing last night, where Nebraska loses a game.
Weird.
And they bump up.
Weird.
You figure it out, because I can't.
I think, Will spend a lot of time in the SEC where their philosophy on midweek games is completely different.
Yep.
It's to get tune-ups for younger players.
Yeah.
maybe that adjusts with another year. Evan made a great point about pitchers developing where you have a 4 and they understand the role on a Tuesday night, and then maybe get lucky and develop a 5. Back in the day, these games would be bigger because both Creighton and Nebraska would have like a legit 4.
Yeah.
And so Jamie Rodriguez pitching, at Rosenblatt against a really good Creighton pitcher, they're like, oh, those are weekend guys that just happened. The rotation is deep.
Yep. Absolutely. Real quickly, he mentioned about Horn. If people were wondering what he was referring to, I thought this was crazy, and I didn't even realize this till Evan put it out last night, that Ty Horn, who was the starter last night for Nebraska, now has 11 unearned runs this spring, while the rest of the Husker staff has 12 total.
Yeah. Well, 5 last night.
18 and a third is all, too, and that's 11 unearned runs.
All right, still to come on the show this morning, Brandon Vogel from counterread.com will join us. There were a couple of things last night that have triggered some people about the Creighton-Nebraska game that had nothing to do with the result. We will discuss when we come back. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Right now, and for a very limited time, get a free $500 quarter-carat oval natural diamond pendant valued at $500 for free with a purchase of $500 or more at Greenberg's Jewelers. Or receive a set of half-carat total weight diamond studs valued at $1,000 absolutely free when you buy $1,000 or more in gorgeous Greenberg's jewelry. It's a real buy one, get one free opportunity during Greenberg's Jewelers' Celebrating Love spring event. Get mom that special Mother's Day gift. Or maybe you have an anniversary, special birthday, or a graduation coming up. You can give 2 pieces of jewelry or keep the free earrings or pendant for yourself. Greenberg's won't tell. Don't miss these tremendous buy one, get one free opportunities during Greenberg's Jewelers' Celebrating Love spring event, happening for a very limited time only at Greenberg's Jewelers. Greenberg's Jewelers, a cut above the rest. West Roads Mall.
Creighton Sports Update.
Creighton sports fans, as the spring season is nearing its finish, the Creighton Athletic Department wants to thank the fans and sponsors for another incredible season. Without your support, their student athletes would not have the experience they do. Thanks again, and go Jays.
$16.20 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to let your band members in Vegas, Phoenix, and Omaha jam like you're all in the same garage. Introducing Cox Fiber, from the company with the fastest download speeds 9 years in a row. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, always building better. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence in Las Vegas, Omaha, Phoenix. Fixed median download speeds Q2 2016 to Q1 2024.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball. Proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
The Nebraska Spa Expo on May 3rd through the 5th with 30 plus hot tubs and swim spas on display
from multiple manufacturers.
Up to 50% off retail pricing. Hot tubs from $44.99.
Same day delivery.
0% financing. Act now. Only 3 days. Come get factory direct savings on a new hot tub or swim spa.
This May 3rd through the 5th
at the Mid-America Center. 3 days only. The Nebraska Spa Expo.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is $50 in vouchers to Le Voltaire French Restaurant for only $25. Le Voltaire Pepperwood Village is a locally owned, unpretentious French restaurant that serves delicious French cooking with an extensive wine list and great handcrafted cocktails. Whether dining with friends, clients, or that special someone, Le Voltaire will make you feel right at home.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
There was something about the Nebraska Creighton baseball, and tip of the cap. Creighton went 3-0 against Nebraska, and now it'll be a PR campaign until they play again about metrics and which one to use from Creighton. I get it, but got to get in the tournament. I think they got to get before they with a good resume. Got to be in the top 3 of the Big East before the tournament.
Yes,
say you're in.
Right.
Okay, that's just my.
I'm with you because I don't even know if you're the 4th seed in that it's going to really hold a lot of value.
But where did all the pettiness come from on the baseball side? Like it is like ramped up. So I was alerted to this. I was not at the game last night. Did the Boys Town thing. Nick and Connor were on the air. Did Nebraska baseball have a merchandise shop at the stadium last night?
Yeah. So
what
they were doing was for the tornado relief. So they joined forces where you could get a Nebraska hitting shirt or a Creighton hitting shirt.
Okay.
And $10 of the purchase would go to the tornado relief fund. So it was a way that Creighton and Nebraska were joining forces.
Good. Great. Yeah. I saw there were players. I saw there were players that carried containers up through the stands that were supplies that were.
Yeah.
So
I did not see any 1890 gear. No.
It was not a Nebraska specific.
As far as I know,
okay.
no.
Okay.
No. If you saw Husker gear being sold, it was to help out in tornado relief. That was. I don't think they had their own truck there, and 1890 rolls up.
So
we're taking over.
So you do. You see this, and I'm glad to hear that. And it, as much as blue and red go back and forth.
Yeah.
It's great that they together.
Yep. 100%.
But when the Big Ten baseball tournament is here, Iowa brings their merch truck and they park it over in the parking lot by Baseball Village for the Big Ten tournament.
Because they're they're out of the reach of the Big Ten.
So I didn't know if Nebraska brought like a trailer, because the Home Run Club used to have a trailer. I didn't know if they and then the Home Run Club doesn't exist anymore. I didn't know if they brought a trailer up or they actually where they do the merchandise behind home plate by one of the main entrance.
Like, let's just lean into it.
Just like, hey, I know it's a Creighton home game, but there's going to be more Nebraska fans.
And no one's stopping us.
Good. So it was a joint thing.
Now, if there was a trailer similar to what Iowa does in the Big Ten tournament, I did not know about that. But I'm assuming where you saw people purchasing red, it was for tornado relief. Yeah.
All right. So that's good. Good on both schools to come together and not for Mecca to allow Nebraska to have their own merchandise shop at the Chuck yesterday.
Like, hey, we're going to have 5,000 people here. We got to appease both fan bases.
There's something else that happened yesterday. We'll discuss when we come back. Brandon Vogel as well from counterread.com on this. So Wednesday on May Day on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Roads have cleared up for the most part here later on in the morning. No accidents or obstructions to report that are new. Just some of that slower traffic. Dodge eastbound starting around 180th and Dodge westbound slowing down around 108th. Other than that, things looking good. Just remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahaw Nurseries.
Think spring. Think Lanahaw's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
So, Isabella, you're in high school earning college credits?
Tuition-free college credits.
Tuition-free? Your mom's got a...
Love that.
Hey, Maya, hold up. You'll graduate from high school.
But my college gen ed's knocked out. Tuition-free.
That's got to save you and your parents thousands in college tuition. How about you, Ian?
I'll be debt-free thanks to MCC.
Earn college credits while still in high school. Tuition-free. Get started at mccneb.edu/tuition-free. Classes start June 5th.
This is me at MCC.
Creighton Sports Update.
Creighton sports fans, as the spring season is nearing its finish, the Creighton Athletic Department wants to thank the fans and sponsors for another incredible season. Without your support, their student athletes would not have the experience they do. Thanks again, and go Jays.
$16.20 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo at Agave Azteca Mexican Bar and Grill in Ralston. Agave Azteca's menu boasts a wide variety of Mexican food options and is the perfect place to get your Cinco de Mayo fix. Don't miss out on their Mole Azteca, their crowd favorite fajitas, or their signature Nachos Locos. And you won't want to miss on their new seafood options, like ceviche, shrimp cocktail, aguachile, and many more delicious seafood dishes. Check out their entire menu at agaveazteca.com. Agave Azteca, the shortcut to Mexico.
Hey, the Field of Green sweepstakes has your chance to win $5,000 for all of your home improvement plans. That's the Field of Green sweepstakes. With a chance to win $5,000 for your home improvement plans. Enter to win now at 1620thezone.com.
Hey, you've made it through a third of the year.
Oh,
yes.
Boy,
hey, hot dogs, by the
way.
sausages and hot dogs are becoming very popular. If they weren't already, but in baseball. So the Twins have won 9 in a row, and it's all because of the sausage. They celebrate with a sausage.
Okay.
Now,
many do.
You remember on opening day for the Mets, they honored a 97-year-old World War II veteran named Seymour Wiener?
You know, they just wanted to do that because of that.
This
is good. America.
I think there was a method to their madness because last night at Citi Field for the Mets and the Cubs on Dollar Hot Dog Night, Seymour Wiener was back.
He was.
Yes.
Nice.
They sold 46,000 hot dogs at the Blue Jay Royal game yesterday on their dollar dog night.
And there's only 10,000 in attendance. Actually, I don't know.
People are two-fisting.
Hot dogs are taking over.
Oh, we used to do that in college. About 12.
Hey.
Is there a better ballpark food item? No.
Than the hot dog?
Yeah.
It's
simple. It's
different
easy.
in a ball game.
It's still relatively affordable. I say relatively because everything. I mean, a bag of popcorn anymore is like $6, but yeah, it's easy. It's handheld. Yeah, there's nothing beats it.
So I have to tell.
So welcome to the club.
Quick story. Side note. This is high school portal day.
Yeah.
It's not just football. Wow.
You got some hoops one too?
No, it's wrestling.
Oh.
Yes, that you're seeing.
Okay.
So I was at Polly's a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if it was the guys' own or it's Polly's, but the Cubs game was on,
and
the guy had hot dogs on the roller. Oh, they smelled so good.
Who doesn't love a gas station hot dog?
No, man.
They're on the rollers.
They looked and smelled better than like the roller at QT.
Okay.
Ooh, that's saying something.
That's big.
I think I might buy one of those rollers.
I've thought about it.
A hot dog roller?
They're not that expensive, and you actually can find them. They're easier to find nowadays. I'm really thinking about getting a hot dog roller.
Oh, Nick, there you go for Reese's
because you
birthday
get the burn marks on there.
Yeah,
and the smell.
So
and they just they sit right into the bun.
Yep.
And when you put mustard on top,
there's something about the smell that just draws you in.
The roller,
and you see it going. So for Reese's first birthday, we did a rookie of the year theme. Because he's a rookie.
Did you blow out your arm?
No, didn't have any tendon issues. We tried to rent one, and we couldn't find a place to rent one. But we wanted to do the hot dogs on the rollers, so we had to improvise and use a crock pot.
Settled for the fact that he won't remember it.
But I've thought about it. This is even before Reese was in my life. I thought about hot dog roller, but unfortunately, I know now I'm exactly.
That's
Columbus?
what she said.
What I was about to say next, I'm just going to stay away from because it really does.
My soldier don't need no helmet when he goes into battle.
This is going to get right into the mentality part of it too. But I was just going to say that I wanted to get a hot dog roller, but my wife's not a fan of the hot dog.
So Reese is adopted?
He kind of teed it up.
I just decided, you know what? I was reluctant. No, just lean into it. Go.
They were fronting Gary and you threw it over the top.
I did. It's true. It happened.
Good job.
Yeah. No, I've wanted one.
But hot dogs are like the rage here. I don't know if there's like a run cheaper at Costco. So ball clubs are going and they're having their hot dog night.
Yeah.
But we've had a run.
Apparently,
Costco ones are
Nick
really
Grimm
good.
tried to eat one in 10 seconds and failed miserably. I don't know how.
Yeah. So all of a sudden we're seeing more hot dog discussion. Spring is sprung.
Yep.
It's getting here. On cue, Baseball America is the first to put out their projected field of 64 this morning. D1 Baseball is going to do one as well. This is Teddy Cahill. Teddy's a nice guy.
Why are you laughing about Teddy?
Why are you laughing at Teddy? I am laughing about Teddy.
Oh, what did Fred say?
I can't say.
Okay.
I don't even have
I didn't even have to look at it. I just assumed Fred said something.
He's talking about cats.
Uh-huh.
And hot dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do they go together? Explain to me.
I can't speak for the man. And he can't. He said he can explain it though.
Fred's like Dion, man. Now I'm curious. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Back to baseball.
This has to do with my fear of heights, by the way. This has nothing to do with the hot dog and the wiener roller.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I got confused.
Me too.
Hot dogs and fear of heights, two things I don't normally put together.
I am not scared of hot dogs.
So Baseball America has their field of 64 projected. It is May 1. If you are wondering, you're at home. May 27th at 11 a.m. is when the field of 64 will be announced, and we'll have a run to Omaha. The road to Omaha may be mentioned once or twice. But Matt Schick is there, does a great job. Boom, we just get the teams. So
I see what you mean. It's different than the college hockey presentation.
That team in Omaha, somewhere in the middle of the West Coast. The next four out, the first four out, the last four in do not include Creighton.
Yep.
There is a 4 seed that would be headed to College Station. Texas A&M is rolling. Jim Schlossnagle is accusing other teams in the SEC of cheating. Texas A&M, the number 1 overall seed in the College Station Regional, according to Teddy Cahill, would be Omaha. You remember the athletic director at Texas A&M used to be the athletic director at UNO.
You don't say.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Trev and Adrian will get together for breakfast.
I'm sure they will.
But
Whataburger,
I
honey
mean,
chicken
quietly, I know the Summit League is down. Quietly, Omaha baseball has put together a nice little stretch here. This is a huge weekend. They go to Oral Roberts, but St. Thomas, which is in first, can't win the tournament. So Omaha could be the number 1 seed in the conference tournament, and they have at least enough starting pitching to get them to the weekend.
Yep.
Now, Nebraska is in the field of 64. We've been here before. We've actually talked this into existence. Stillwater, Oklahoma as a number 2 seed. Oklahoma State, the 1, Florida, the 3, Niagara, the 4. Jack Caglione, who is just hitting bombs. He's like Dinger Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on FanDuel. He got hit by a pitch yesterday. He picked up the ball and flipped it back to the pitcher.
Love it. If that's not the most ultimate flex, you might as well just caught it out of thin air and just said, nope, not today.
Yeah, he's a dude. Kansas State, who plays at Nebraska tonight, is in this as a 3 seed. Let me just scan this real quick. UConn is the Big East represented as a 2 going to Arkansas. Boy, that would make Dave Van Horn. You'd have to think twice about that. The only other Big Ten team that they have is Purdue as a 3 seed.
And then Illinois is listed as the next 4 out.
Okay. So just 1 from the Big East, 2 from the Big Ten, 1 from the Summit. Be better.
Is the Summit ever going to be a 2-bid league?
No, but
I know you weren't directed that at the Summit League.
I don't rank my kids.
Yeah.
I wanted to group everybody together. I'm not ranking my quarterbacks. I'm just saying the quarterback room at Nebraska is better. That's how I'm approaching this.
So in that next 4 out, by the way, mentioned Illinois at 72, Georgetown 71. Big East baseball is back. I don't know if it was ever here, but it's back. Omaha, that is a great story. I don't even care if they wind up in College Station. That's funny. Yeah. Less awkward for Trev if Omaha is in a regional compared to Nebraska. But we talked about that. This was the amazing thing about the Summit League this year is you have a team that was represented in the College World Series in Oral Roberts, and a year that it is very much down, that it's Oral Roberts that's chasing everybody. Now that is something right there, because that doesn't happen.
So last night, downtown, Creighton wins 9-5. They sweep Nebraska, the season series. They go 3-0, 6-run inning. Nebraska could never get out of the hole. And when they started to rally, Creighton had a good response. So Nebraska still plays tonight. Creighton goes off to the weekend. Next 6 games for Creighton are huge. On the road, St. John's, UConn. I asked you early, and I know it's the Nebraska thing. Like, I see it from the Omaha perspective. I see it from the Creighton perspective. When they play Nebraska, everybody ups their game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The ushers, they look, they like shave. Okay. they wear the Skechers instead of the old Chuck Taylors.
Yep. They might have some hookahs.
Big deal. But we know that there's a lot of pettiness involved.
Yep.
And if you have scoreboard, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have scoreboard, zip your lip, be better.
Yep.
So Creighton social media has been they're just teeing things up. The graphics last night at the old Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
There is a graphic that they use. They just changed the logo. Is the Mario versus Donkey Kong?
Yep.
It's kind of fun.
They've used before. They used it in the Coastal Series too.
Coastal Carolina was so Mario is the visiting team.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong is Creighton. Mario wins that fight.
Mario does win that fight.
Mario always wins.
Yeah.
Mario, but in the clip that they show, it's when Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong, is beating the tar out of Mario, and then they end the clip of, isn't this what you came for, or are you not? Yeah, is this what you came for? And then the clip ends. What they fail to show at the end after that is when Mario
Yeah.
He's able to turn into a cat, and then he wins.
It'd be like shutting off the Super Bowl when the Falcons were up 28-3.
Yes, it would. You're not telling
now
of that bout.
The other thing,
I like this. 2013, the Spurs won the championship. Ray Allen never hit a shot. Turned off the game, went to bed.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, had a little graphic last night because this has been shared on Husker Twitter that misspelled Creighton on a trivia question.
Was this the trivia question the last time that Nebraska? Yeah. Okay. We noticed the question. I glanced up and I just looked down and kind of shook my head of, kind of smirking. Yeah, they love what's happening. Didn't even notice that Creighton was spelled wrong.
I know those guys, and they are fantastic. They will be doing the graphics and all that stuff for the Big Ten baseball tournament.
Look, they want to churn out content sometimes. The fingers work a little faster than what the mind will allow you to.
I love the pettiness.
It's great.
But did Will stir something up? Because it seems like in the last couple of years it has ramped up even more.
So it's interesting you say that because I'm going off of Ed's reaction, especially this year. Ed has really gotten into it with his players after the game. And the first game when we were leaving and I was walking out with John, Ed stops in the middle of his post-game presser and is dapping it up with John. I mean, and look, it's always meant something to Creighton. Ed's shown even a lot more, I'd say a lot more emotion than I can recall in winning. But I remember when Darren was coaching for Nebraska, it wasn't necessarily the reaction from Ed as much as it was from Darren and how pissed Darren would be about losing to that team. Just pissed. Because I had to talk to Darren after the game and try to get some type of post-game interview. And it was the same answer anytime that they lost. I'd ask him specifically about a player, and he goes, I didn't do a good enough job getting these guys ready to play. All right, so what did you think about Scott Schreiber and his approach there in the third inning? I didn't do a good enough job to get these guys ready to play. I'm like, okay, that's where we're going to be. And it wasn't like I was pissed or anything. I understood. He was mad, but he would wear that game. Not saying Will's not ticked off about it. It was a really interesting conversation that they were having in the dugout for a good 15 minutes. Will's a fire guy. I mean, you know Will.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't sit well with him, but damn, Darren wore it. Darren really wore it.
I don't know, just I know because you're going to cross paths in recruiting, and the team in Lincoln gets more attention than you, even on years where Creighton is the better program.
And I think that's a big part of it, Gary.
So I get why there's extra emotion, and maybe some of those guys have a chip on their shoulder of, well, Nebraska didn't recruit us. Well, I always give credit. Creighton does a hell of a job recruiting locally.
Yep.
Okay. They grind to get guys, and doesn't matter who they're going against. But it's almost on another level in the last few years of what that game means. And may also be amplified by your winning, but you get what I'm saying. Is like what to have Ed have that kind of emotion, which just leads back to how we started this morning. Can you treat St. John's this weekend and go, that red is the same red we played on Tuesday night?
Yeah, if you were watching that game last night, at some point, especially if you're a Creighton fan, at some point you're watching Creighton put up a 6 spot in the first inning, and you're wondering, is there any way that I can envision that same red on Friday and on Saturday? Same thing happening, because that's the more important thing. Last night doesn't matter when it comes to what your ultimate goal is. You already won that series against Nebraska anyway. Okay, you get a bump. You go from 55 to 51st in the RPI. Big deal. That's the red that doesn't matter. It's the red this weekend. And that is the conflict that you have as a Creighton fan right now. You are loving having the bragging rights over the team in Lincoln. You are loving that. But you're also looking at the reality of not making the Big East tournament if you can't figure things out this weekend. There's no, well, we've got a couple more series. Boy, we got to figure it out. At least in May, we got to figure out. Guess what? It's May. You've got to do it.
Yeah, the Big East isn't helping itself because UConn is down in the last week 6 spots in the RPI. And the RPI is not the end-all, be-all, but the committee has shown us in the past that's kind of what they rely on. Creighton is down 9 spots. Now, they did go up yesterday 4, but still, I think this. If Creighton finds a way to get to the number 3 seed in the conference tournament, they are in the NCAA tournament before Ohio.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's a position that you would hope you put yourself in with the midweek success you've had. All of that is just blue in the face. All that's great as long as you can find yourself in that position, in the top 3 from a seeding standpoint in the Big East tournament. And that energy you mentioned that Ed gives after they beat Nebraska, the players just absolute pumping their fists. They're so excited. How do you generate that in lesser venues? I'm not saying against lesser teams, because until you can actually beat them, you can't say that. But the venues that don't invoke that, once you step on the field, you're like, damn.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if Ed knows what it is, but they got to figure it out. Yeah, because this could go down as one of the most disappointing seasons they've ever had.
And yet you might win 28 non-conference games.
Exactly. That's why.
We're back with more after this.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mainly dry to start Wednesday with increasing cloud cover in the morning. Shower chances go up in the afternoon, continue to increase throughout the evening. A few thunder showers possible as well. Highs top out in the upper 60s. Thunderstorms more likely overnight with heavy rain potential into Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
Hey, it's John and Josh here for the FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA playoffs have tipped off, but there's still lots of time to get in on the action with FanDuel. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Just place one winning $5 bet. You get $150 in bonus bucks to use on same-game parlays, live bets, even championship futures, and a whole lot more. Because there is no better place to bet all NBA playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. So go to FanDuel.com/1620 and get started.
So like John said, just go to FanDuel.com/1620 and new customers, again, you can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 that you can use on a variety of props. It's FanDuel.com/1620. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Spring has arrived, and Lenaha has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. The best shrubs, perennials, and freshly dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lenaha Nurseries, your homegrown headquarters since 1974. Think spring. Think Lenaha's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the roofery.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more DaVinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the roofery. Make the right call.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The.
Reese loves the song.
I figured.
Unfortunately, he's at daycare right now, so he can't hear this.
Let's talk some hot dogs here.
Yeah.
CJ says, hey, Gary, heard you take on hot dog rollers. Definitely must have. I have this one in my man cave bar. It's been great and gets lots of use out of it during the football season. It's at Home Depot.
Okay.
Oh, CJ.
Good to know.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we weren't ready to commit to it full time, but we were looking to rent it. Maybe I should have just bought it.
Mayor Mike out in Gretna at the turn on the golf course. We like to call them grease missiles.
Right, I've never my favorite baseball term.
I know we've referred to him on the golf course as I'm going to get a gut bomb, but I've never heard grease missile. I love it.
Should we
oil?
Should we rank the best place for a hot dog?
As far as where to eat it,
ball game.
No, like it as a stadium.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's not a lot of hot dog joints out here, so yeah. Golf course, probably the turn is top 3.
2 a.m. from a food cart outside of a very busy bar district.
Yep. I would say ballpark number 1. I don't even think it's close. I would probably put at the turn. Sometimes you get there late, you got a late tee time, and you want one before you actually even get on the first tee, but definitely at the turn, I would put it number 2. That's a big one. It's a must because you reload on the amine oil, get another 6-pack, and then I better eat because if I don't, this amine oil is going to take its effect on me. So it soaks it up.
Do they serve hot dogs at Dave & Buster's?
They should.
No.
Because I'm working on
the gambling thing.
The gambling thing. Yeah. I think I have a couple of young kids that are good at skee ball.
Oh, I see.
And also,
you want to make sure they're nourished.
Warm the
you know
arm.
what? I got to get back into it. I'm pretty sure I was one of the better Papa Shot people in Omaha, like 5 years ago, because I would play it a lot.
That the one where you shoot the basketball?
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, I'm going to go to Dave & Buster's.
It's all about quantity.
I'm going to go to Dave & Buster's and hustle 14-year-olds playing Papa Shot.
I love it. You'll be like our own Papa Shot version of Billy Hoyle.
No, Dave & Buster's, I don't think they call it I think it's Hot Shots.
Whatever.
Is what they call it.
We all know what it is.
Great movie.
You can change. Part 2.
Gentlemen, he's back.
You can change it all you want to.
I mean, think
it's
about
pop
this.
a shot.
Think about this. As they announce that you can gamble on the arcade games, what would
amazing.
stop you from making money off your kid?
Nothing.
Like just work on skee ball.
Yep.
Okay, become a pro at skee ball, and then go and
regular
just
Earl Woods.
and then just scam the system against his friends. Just make a ton of money off your kid.
It's the 2024 version of Little League, Dad.
I like this.
Yeah, you have a plan.
It is like Billy Hoyle. You're hustling.
You build them for. They're born and bred for arcade greatness. And you can finally make $1 off of it, make a couple shekels.
A local radio host today is
Listen,
hot water for
there's going to be some There's going to be some
about-
incidents though.
For about
my
18
goodness.
years, they're sucking off the trough, make a little money off
That's
your
right.
kids.
Exactly.
Before
right.
they move back in home, and you got to charge them rent.
Yep, that's right.
Says
Earn your
somebody
keep.
says somebody that doesn't have kids.
Earn your keep. Taxes they ain't comfortable around here. We got to have everybody pinching in. I don't care if you're 8 years old. You got to do your work, man.
Got to pinch in.
Yeah, Reese has got about 4 more years before he's going to learn the value of a hard-earned dollar.
See those kids at a Husker game? You could be one of them.
I'll be mowing the lawn.
Yeah, and he'll charge
Ed
me
says,
a lot.
go a step further about the best place to have a hot dog. What is the best way to present the hot dog? Is it straight handing over a hot dog with the bun? Is it in tinfoil? Or is it in the special paper that you get from a hot dog cart?
Sorry, I'm biased.
That is underrated. I still think the foil.
Give me a dog at a Husker game.
I open up the foil and the steam comes out.
That's that's the Memorial Stadium.
Give me a damn dog
Get a
at
red
Husker
dye,
game. Yes.
and then
you
back
got
in
the
the
red
day,
dye and the foil.
now what was his name? I'm sorry. He was a legend. He was a character. He was a hot dog salesman from Western Nebraska. I think his name was Steve. He was a lawyer by day. CBS morning show, Sunday mornings, did a story on him. But when he would throw you the hot dog, in the wrapper, in the foil, you would put your money into the foil and then you'd throw it back.
Oh, really?
To him. Yeah, that's how he got. That's because
that's trusting.
He would, only passing that
he
used to
would
be in that
he
stadium.
would be many rows away.
Yeah,
and he'd throw you a hot dog. So you would take the hot dog out of the wrapper and then you'd put your $2 in it,
right?
And you'd rub it, not rub it, you'd squeeze it together or
Make a
whatever.
ball.
I can't even think of the word. What do you do with it?
Crumple it up.
Crumple it.
Why was I thinking rub?
You rub it. You make sure.
I don't know. We're talking about hot dogs.
You crumple it up and then you throw it back to him
swiftly up and down.
I love this show so much.
I just want a hot dog.
I just think the show today is a little mid.
It's mid. I don't know. I don't even know the guy. Mid at best.
He has his name on the show. I don't know him.
I don't
know. We do know Brandon
level.
Vogel from counterread.com. He will join us next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Every Mother's Day, I stress out trying to find that perfect gift. But this year, I finally found it. The Skylight Frame. The Skylight Frame is a touchscreen photo frame your whole family can upload photos to. Even if you're all spread across the country, Mom and Grandma can share your favorite moments. The Skylight Frame is simple to set up and use. In minutes, your family can email photos straight to your mom's Skylight Frame and surprise her with those special moments. And for that perfect Mother's Day unboxing, you can preload the Skylight Frame with your favorite photos for Mom, and it'll be ready when she unwraps her gift. It's the perfect way to touch her heart and bring you all together, wherever you are. It's the gift of connection. And now, as a special limited-time offer for our listeners, get 15% off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/fun. That's skylightframe.com/fun. Get 15% off your Mother's Day purchase now at skylightframe.com/fun.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text GRIT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text GRIT to 42424. That's GRIT to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Spring has arrived, and Lenaha has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. The best shrubs, perennials, and freshly dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lenaha Nurseries, your homegrown headquarters since 1974. Think spring. Think Lenaha's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
The Nebraska Spa Expo on May 3rd through the 5th with 30-plus hot tubs and swim spas on display
From multiple manufacturers.
up to 50% off retail pricing. Hot tubs from $44.99.
Same-day delivery.
0% financing. Act now. Only 3 days. Come get factory direct savings on a new hot tub or swim spa.
This May 3rd through the 5th.
At the Mid-America Center. 3 days only. The Nebraska Spa Expo.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, great tune. This is like if you're if you play covers at a bar, you've got this in the rotation.
Yeah, can't ever go wrong.
We welcome in our good friend from counterread.com, Brandon Vogel. Did you hear that tune?
I did not. I'm very intrigued now.
I don't know that you
Blister in the sun. Innocent.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, welcome.
Not nearly as enthusiastic about it as I thought you would be.
Well, I don't think you can. So
yeah, okay.
Kind of hurt things. I want to start here, and then we're going to work our way through the spring game. But you've got a kid who should still be in high school, just went through spring ball, did things we haven't seen out of a quarterback at Nebraska in a while, which the bar is somewhat low. He talks about going to Kansas City to work out with Patrick Mahomes' trainer and possibly Patrick Mahomes. The kid looks like he's the son of Patrick Mahomes. Last night he's on stage with Zach Bryan. You know all the hype, but why is it? And if I'm off, tell me. It might be my observation of people that I'm talking to. We all go, man, it just feels different. Some go a little bit further. But why if you praise Dylan Raiola, almost in the next sentence, do you apologize and go, oh, he's not the savior. He's just really good. Do you get that a couple of days after everybody has seen him in person?
Yeah, I do. In fact, in spring game takeaways on Monday, I think I wrote something pretty similar to that, saying Nebraska doesn't need a savior, it just needs a quarterback. And the line gets blurred because, I mean, frankly, like, we don't have a lot of experience with five-star players, covering this program for as good as it's been, over the years. Recruiting reality is recruiting reality, and I think it's you can look at what he did in that game and all really impressive, but I do think it's more just a feel with him. Like he feels in control. He feels like the worry is that yeah, he's a five-star, but he's also a true freshman. I don't get the true freshman feeling from him. He feels to me like, yes, this is where I expected to be, this is where I should be, and the time is now. So it's all very kind of ephemeral at this point, but it is just it's you expect a five-star to look different, and he did.
Brandon, play along with me, if you will, on to that point of, and like Gary said, I think we do. We find ourselves apologizing. I'm sorry, but I'm excited about this guy. That's learned behavior as Nebraska fans. Where can we trace that back to? At what point were we 100% positive that we had that position figured out to where we started overhyping to now where we have to apologize?
Oh, good question. I mean, it may not be that long ago as I kind of run through Nebraska's like history at that position as long as I've covered the team. I mean, you had Taylor Martinez, and that was just seemed like it was set, after the first 4 games of his career. You're like, well, there's your guy for the next 4 years. And then
Right.
Armstrong for 3. It felt that way with Adrian Martinez. So do we have to go back to Mike Riley's last year? And I'm totally blanking on the guy's name. The Tulane transfer. Tanner Lee, thank you. Yeah, maybe then. I mean, which would only be 2017. It doesn't feel that old, but that was the guy that was like, yep, he's at Peyton Manning Passing Academy. He's an NFL draft pick, and he kept that streak alive for one more year. So maybe it was then.
How quarterback friendly can this offense be? Because they've got the quarterback room right. Raiola there's a future there. There's going to be things that are going to be different when you get to the fall, of course. Harburg has made a stride. Kalen needs time. The quarterback room, they got right. How quarterback friendly can this offense become?
I think they can make it pretty quarterback friendly based on what we saw on Saturday. Again, standard spring game caveat with all of that, but the group of pass catchers they have, and you didn't even have Coleman or really Banks. I mean, I know he was there and you saw a glimpse, but those are 2 of their top 5 receivers didn't factor in that spring game. As impressed as I was with the quarterbacks, I think as a group, I also, my takeaway B was they really upgraded, I think, their pass catchers. And when you look at Thomas Fidone, who had a great kind of breakout season, but his best football is still ahead of him as long as he stays healthy. The praise for Banks has been effusive. And then you just look at everything, like kind of the wild cards they have beyond that with some of these young players, the speed. I think they're going to get pretty creative in ways to get those guys the ball. I think, in terms of post-game comments, one of the ones that was most important in my mind, Heinrich Harburg said this season's all about completions, which I would agree with. You can't complete under 50% and expect to win a lot of football games. So they'll find ways to get that completion percentage up.
I was listening to a former Husker talk about how he feels this wide receiving class is potentially more explosive than the class he was part of, and I'm talking about Kenny Bell. If I look at what elements exist and don't exist or didn't exist to make a wide receiving group more explosive than what maybe they thought that they could be, how much of that do you put into the quarterback play? How much of that do you put in just the simplicity of accuracy, getting guys in space and allowing them to showcase some God-given speed or allowing them to showcase their ability to turn it upfield, make guys miss, and create big plays.
Yeah, it's that's always kind of the yin and yang. I think with big plays, you can scheme some of them up, like
Right.
and you got good coaches. You see something, you work your constraint plays, and then you'll hit one. We saw some good examples of that last year with Harburg and some of the option pass stuff that they did. And then a certain amount of big plays are just, yeah, our guy's better, or he made a guy miss. And I think they've improved in both areas, which is why I think the ceiling is relatively high for this offense. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a top 30 offense, but I don't think it needs to be if you pair it with a defense like they had last year. So. Raiola talking about the long pass to Charles and seeing him on the defensive back. I don't know if it was safety or corner on his toes and just be like, that's a touchdown. Like that's a piece where I think, a quarterback of that caliber comes in and can help you with that. And if you can get some more big plays by just getting the ball out quick and making a couple guys miss, making cornerbacks tackle, which this coaching staff talks about a lot, you've got a pretty good recipe there.
Brandon Vogel from counterread.com, Brandon and Aaron Sorensen. Great recap on Monday of the spring game, and then Aaron talking about recruiting the portal and other things. There's the element that we talked about since Saturday, and a lot of it has been on offense. But if you go back to the Saturday before the spring game, there was a lot of talk about, man, that offense looked good. The quarterbacks looked good. We had a couple of 90-plus yard drives. We know key defensive players didn't play in the last scrimmage or in the spring game, but they've been talked about as we want to be the best defense. Is there any concern going into the offseason about the defense that has sprung up maybe in the last couple of weeks for you?
No, not yet. I mean, it'd be interesting to know to get some truth there with Tony White and be like, hey, how loud did you get to turn this up during the spring? Because I think it's pretty clear that offense is Nebraska's biggest growth area, to put it kindly. And you got to work on things defensively. So I think I didn't come out of the spring with concerns about that. That said, I'm always kind of hesitant, even if you can look at the returning production and what they did last year, to just like pencil in like, well, yeah, they'll be top 10 defense again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you never know. And I mean, I think there's still a linebacker remains the murkiest piece of it for me. And what kind of, you bring a lot of players back in the secondary, but you got to replace some pretty good ones too. So there's a couple of question marks there, but I think the D line is going to take another step forward. And if you can be good up there, you can buy yourself some time and even cover up, the occasional mistake in the back seven.
The Bly Hill injury, and again, we don't know the exact length, the extent of it. We just know that one was semi-serious, one was serious. Bly Hill, let's assume that he's out for a considerable amount of time. In your opinion, going into the spring game compared to where we are now, what does that do to the rotation? And does that put Malcolm Hartzog back in the mix at corner?
It might, depending on how they want to shuffle things around. That was a tough one, because that was shaping up, and I mean, hopefully it still will be a great story, and hopefully he'll be able to play. It was a great story already. You figure where he was at last year, kind of quietly joined Nebraska for a transfer in today's age, and all of a sudden looked like he was in line to be one of their top 2 or 3 cornerbacks, certainly. So I think they're okay there in terms of depth. You don't miss out on, I guess, experience with him, but you do miss out on having a 6'3" corner, which I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, going to be an interesting offseason, but at least there's a little bit of a bounce from Saturday. As always, enjoy the conversation and great stuff, and we look forward to what is next as you dive into the spring, and then what'll carry us through the next 4 months.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good week.
That's Brandon Vogel. Great stuff between him and Aaron up on counterread.com. Brandon broke down some of the key storylines out of the spring and then what is ahead. Because Nebraska's got to have a good summer, good focus for the next 4 months. So you can find that at counterread.com.
Love the apology question about quarterback. I'm sorry, but I think this kid is okay. There isn't it? Am I right? That's just learned behavior now as a Nebraska fan of, I can't say it. I can't say it with full confidence right now. Even if you feel everything in your body says, I think this is going to be really good. You have to
throw 6 touchdowns in the first
game. You have to throw in that, sorry, man, but I think he's going to be really good.
Sticks together.
Because you're right. When you said that, I think of every conversation I've ever had with anybody about Dylan Raiola that's high on them, and they usually will go into that neighborhood of, is it bad that I think he's really good? Or am I drinking the Kool-Aid if I think he's going to be really good? Or you start talking about what you saw on Saturday, and you're like, I'm sorry, but that looked really great.
Saying this when he's a junior.
Oh, you don't have to apologize.
Yeah, it might be good.
Yeah. Someday it will, and it might be right now.
Just like his dad with the Chiefs.
So
for a second, I had to think, wait a minute. When did Dom
play?
When did Dahmer play?
Man, they signed everybody. Got themselves a damn good lineman.
He's coming back.
15.
Did this kid delete this?
Uh-oh.
So Colorado football is making news this morning on social media.
Of course they are.
They can't be.
Dalvin Truth, who plays at Colorado,
Great name.
just quote tweeted a guy that transferred, and he said, "Man, go take a seat." Coach Prime quote tweeted and said, "Lord Jesus." I think
Which is the name of the recruit.
I think Deion might be trolling, but
yeah.
Hello. What it was, Josh Hodson's got a phrase. He goes, "You're an unserious." He calls him Embiid an unserious player.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I think he would call Colorado an unserious football program.
Yep.
The Knicks fans were very nice to Embiid last night.
All right.
But he won.
Hey, they're in the news. It's May 1.
Yeah.
4-8 last year. All right, good show, everybody. That was a lot of fun in the midweek. We have a busy show tomorrow.
Where's our baskets? Outside the studio.
Oh, could be. Haven't gone to my cubicle yet.
That would be interesting.
Probably no Mayday baskets.
I would like that.
Yeah, if there was a Mayday basket.
All right. Crossover's coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 with another edition of Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy at 1620 The Zone.